League action presented today by Henry Ford Macomb. We welcome you all to Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. It's the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here today in the visiting Bloomfield Birmingham Beavers. It seems like it's been a long time since we've seen this Beavers squad, kind of play consistently. Jeremy Addo alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. here at the United Shore Media Desk. Heavy unicorns, and now we kind of see this schedule balance out because we saw the imbalance kind of at the beginning, just how the schedule flew by, but we're starting to see teams get their games in now.
I'm a little bit bullish, so to speak, on the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. I mean, they're playing better baseball. They're going to be on our schedule a little bit more consistently, and I'm starting to like the way that their lineup is laid out, and they're in second place now too. So this is going to be a team to keep an eye on.
Certainly have seen some bats added to the fold as well. We'll talk about that as the broadcast progresses. But yesterday the bats were there and they weren't. I mean, we had kind of the one inning, the one explosion by the Westside Woolly Mammoths, which is something we haven't seen a whole lot from their offense. But it was Ross Haffey off the taxi squad who got it going. A 3 RBI double down the left field line in the end. His swing's looking good.
Looks great. I'm not sure where he's going to end up landing on a permanent basis as far as which team. My guess is it's either going to be the Mammoths or the Beavers, but whoever gets him is going to get quite a score with the way that he's swinging the bat. He's playing good defense too. He's not chasing balls out of the zone. You can't make a mistake against him right now because he's going to hurt you.
Well, hair product helps on a day like this. Paperweight helps as well because for the first time we see that wind whipping out really. We've only seen that a couple times so far this year. Maybe we see some home runs. We heard earlier from the Unicorns practice, guys hitting one out left and right.
Yeah, I hope so. We haven't really had the benefit of a wind blowing out situation yet, and I think that's, reflected in the low home run totals so far. But we've got a couple of guys who can hit the ball out of the park today. We got Zach Gray. He's right up there to, toward the league lead right now. And, maybe we'll see a few fly out of here. I'm hoping we turn the corner on that power-wise.
Certainly look out for Ross Haffey, a guy who had 45 home runs in the home run derby. Really starting to track things down. 10 home runs last year overall for Ross. So he's a guy who can swing it and swing it in bunches. He's one of those power guys who can hit in streaks.
Yeah, and he's not going to be a low batting average guy either. Some of these guys are, you take a look at maybe Jamal Howard right now. He's a guy that's got power, but he's hitting for a low average, and he's got a lot of strikeouts to his name. I don't think Zach Gray is going to be that type of guy very much. He doesn't really chase out of the zone very often. He's a pretty disciplined hitter, and he's a guy that you're pretty happy to have in the 4th spot in your lineup.
So it could be at those starting lineups brought to you by AAA of Michigan as always. First for the visiting Diamond Hoppers here today, it's Miles Miller. A guy who's only seen 14 ABs, has come up with a couple big doubles so far in his USPBL career. He'll lead it off. Adam De La Cruz, that fresh face here in the Hoppers lineup. Paul Noche, you got to welcome his glove and bat. Playing third base again here today, Xavier Warren, Zach Gray, and Riley Mahalik hitting in the meat of the lineup here tonight. It's Trevor McKinley, Greg Vaughn Jr., and Anthony Maselli following him. And then Jordan Pontius routing things out here today against A.J. Coleman. More on A.J. in our pitcher comparison brought to you by Denzo a little bit later in the broadcast. On the other side for the home Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, it's T.J. Riles leading off and playing left field. Freddie Geely back in the 2-hole again here today for Vaughn Joshua's squad. Romero Harris, a late add to the 3 spot here today. Joey Weimer, a late subtraction, having some troubles getting the ballpark from what we hear. Cameron Comer, Alec Olin, and Ron Williams Jr. hitting in the middle of the lineup here today, 4, 5, 6. Austin Shoemaker, Jalen Smith, and Cesar Cuevas at the bottom as well. And when you can insert a guy like Jalen Smith, and we've talked about him, he really hasn't gotten hot like Vaughn Joshua and Paul Noche and the squads that he's played for think he can, but at the bottom of the lineup, he can be a dangerous guy.
Oh, for sure. He's got some pop in his bat. He can run. He's had a couple of big hits here and there. He hasn't been, real consistent like we said, but if he can sort of settle into a role, I think that would help. I know he's jumped around a lot, a lot of team-to-team stuff, and if he can get regular time maybe with one team, whether it's the Beavers or somebody else, I think that could maybe help him be a little bit more consistent going forward.
Well, now time for Dan Griesbaum Jr.'s keys to the game. What do you have today?
Well, you touched on it a little bit, just talking about the lineup. I think Adam De La Cruz and, some of these changes with the Hoppers starting lineup could be a key, not just today, but going forward. So you add De La Cruz to the mix, probably going to play third base. That settles that position really for them. They've got, really plus defenders all around the diamond now, I think. Riley Mahalik can really settle in at that DH spot. The Hoppers had a little bit of a void at catcher for a while. They had Luke Johnson early on, who was a veteran, but decided to step away from playing the game. They've been sort of patching it together a little bit since then, and now it looks like maybe Xavier Warren's going to settle into that role as opposed to jumping around positions. With Milwaukee, he was drafted as a catcher, so I think they want him to get as much time behind the plate as possible, and that could be a plus for the Hoppers. So just adding De La Cruz settles a couple of spots, I think for this team. This was a team that was pretty hot early on, has been a little bit back and forth lately, but they're going to be a team to watch going forward, I think, especially offensively.
Well, the battle for second place continues here on the USPBL Network. On the flip side, we'll get to your pitchers in just a second.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of summer. Make every moment of summer count by picking up Budweiser today.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. Another beautiful day for baseball here. Sun-soaked diamond and some wind that we might have to deal with here today as well. It's died down a little bit since the pregame, but we'll follow that all night long as well. Tonight's game presented by Henry Ford and Macomb Hospitals and brought to you by these fine sponsors as well. AAA, Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, the Detroit Medical Center, DTE Energy, Denham Sports, Dunkin' Donuts, Green for Life Environmental, Green Path Financial Wellness, Jimmy John's, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Summit Oral, and United Shore. We thank all those fine partners for their sponsorship of this game and the whole league this year as well. Let's take a peek at your pitcher comparison brought to you by Denso as always here tonight. Two guys going at each other. One guy, a veteran of sorts here in the USPBL, and A.J. Coleman, and a guy on the other side, and Jamon Taylor, who's had a couple good starts.
Yeah, they're both coming off victories, actually. Not really similar type pitchers so much. A.J. Coleman, a guy who's really got to command his fastball down in the zone, has a good tailing, sinking type action in the mid to high 80s. I think they'd like to get that up a little bit higher potentially over time, but in reality that's where he's at, and it's important for him to get on top of the ball and command it down in the zone. Jamon Taylor a little bit different. He was pretty effective the last time out, just spotting his fastball, and got a lot of outs by elevating it, actually throwing it by guys, and had some success with that. We'll see. It's a small sample size with him so far, but we'll see what he brings to the table today.
There you see Freddie Geely trotting back out to second base. Has been one of the most consistent middle infielders in the league this year, certainly. Just keeps on rolling at that second base position.
He does. He's the major part of the core of this team, and the Beavers lineup in general is starting to come together a little bit. We don't have Weimer in the lineup today. Maybe we'll see him later in the game, but not starting today. But Riles kind of a new leadoff man. Geely's been there, of course. Romero Harris and Comer's really starting to get hot, and that's a catcher who I think we expected to be sound defensively and hit the ball over the fence once in a while and be a main part of the middle of this lineup. And this is a team that can contend.
It's fun to start to see these rosters and lineups start to shape up as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. You can see, some of these taxi squad guys start to settle in. Our pregame report of stats keeps shrinking in terms of taxi squad guys. I know we've had some new ones.
I like it.
Filter in the league, but yeah, it'll be nice to kind of settle into these rosters and
right.
Get to follow what these guys do as the playoffs approach.
Yeah, it's that used to be a pretty thick packet, but now we've got guys who are assigned to rosters. It's going to be fun to follow that competition.
First pitch is next. Don't go anywhere.
They called it the 1,000-year flood. They were having homes and businesses flooded, and the roads were being washed out.
My entire house is going to be flooded. Okay, do you have a second story?
A lot of fear that we were going to lose a lot of people. When we heard the police station was flooded, we immediately gave them our command center to operate out of.
Belfort was our savior. Sheldon and his team restored 25 of our businesses and more than 1,500 residences.
At Belfort, we're restoring more than property.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power-up down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2020 Silverado Custom Crew Cab 4-wheel drive for just $323 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
There's A.J. Coleman high atop the bump here for the Beavers here today. Fastball, curveball, changeup for A.J. 6'8", 240. The righty out of the University of Cincinnati. He'll face Miles Miller, Adam De La Cruz, and Xavier Warren. Your Zach Hart Agency 3 men, 2 up here in this first inning. Miller has kind of been at the top of Paul Nochi's lineup lately. Only 3 for 14 to start what he's done at the plate here in the USPBL, but he's gotten some clutch hits so far.
He has. He's a real key for this team going forward. They're looking for a guy to lead off and sort of be their catalyst. It was Anthony Maselli early on for a while, but he wasn't really getting on base at the clip that I think they wanted, although he has a long-term reputation of being a guy who gets on base a lot. But they need that guy. There's some people in this lineup that can drive in runs, and if they can get the top of the order on, that's going to be huge. And they have Adam De La Cruz now in the 2 spot, so that's going to help.
Well, Player of the Game contest. The first person against the Player of the Game will win a free oil change courtesy of Kozak's Mr. Muffler. Post your player selection in the comments on Facebook and YouTube before the end of the second inning. Limit 1 guess per fan. Feel free to share your thoughts with us there as well. Beautiful day for baseball. 81 degrees, 10-mile-an-hour wind, whipping out to left center field. It was quite a few home runs in the practice earlier from what I hear from the Utica Unicorns, a guy who isn't necessarily known for power. Malik Blaze had 6 from what I hear.
Man, if he can hit bombs like that and play the type of shortstop he's capable of, that would be fun.
So Miles Miller will stride in to lead things off here. And this lineup certainly has a different look with Adam De La Cruz batting second as well, and followed by Xavier Warren. It is believed that Xavier Warren is kind of going to become a primary hopper going forward.
They were kind of piecing that catching together for a while with, some guys who played, pretty well defensively, but they weren't really big bats. I think with Warren's bat, if he can handle that position, that's going to be a big boost.
First pitch at 7:04, in for strike 1 to Miles Miller. A walk and 3 Ks to his credit as well. Some extra base pop with 3 doubles. Oh, 1 the curveball inside. or the two seam, I beg your pardon. 57% fastball for A.J. Coleman. Ripped and fouled at 86. Average fastball this year has been 87 miles an hour. Has gotten up above 90 a few times.
It'd be interesting to see if he pitched above 90 more consistently, would he still have similar tail, similar, downward action on his fastball or not? Some guys flatten out a little bit if they get to their top velocity.
I think we've wondered that for a few of the guys that we see here in the league. So we have some guys with some really good spin rates. We've talked about it throughout the broadcast throughout this year so far. Here's the 1-2 now. On the outside corner for strike 3.
It's a pretty tough pitch. That ball's tailing away from him pretty hard.
Strikeout number 28 of the year for AJ. Comes in 11 walks to 28 Ks now with a 4.06 ERA. His last start on the 13th, last Thursday, so a week ago here today. 5 innings, 3 hits. Just 1 run. It was not earned. 2 walks to 4 strikeouts.
I thought he left his sinker up in that game a little bit early on, but he really settled in and started to command it better as the outing went.
Jared Wright yesterday for the Mammoths, able to get the win. I think, for Jared's standards, he has pretty high standards whenever he enters a game. He'll say he didn't have his best stuff going, but he was able to do just enough, get through 4 innings, and then
I actually wrote that down in my notes after the game, just enough. I wrote that exact phrase down. That's kind of the way that outing felt. It was pretty good, and it was enough.
But when you have the back end of the bullpen, like those two teams showed, 6 innings for 2 guys on each side, or I think 6 innings in total, 6 strikeouts, 1 per inning was kind of the key, and then striking out 2 in the 7th inning was Dazon Cole to kind of close it out. It was an impressive feat all the way around for those relievers. You talked about
4 great relievers, really.
John Murphy, Dazon Cole, Donald Goodson, Nolan Clenny.
And I'd say that Murphy's probably the one I was the happiest to see yesterday. He's just been a little bit more inconsistent than the others, and it might have been his best outing, really.
Struck out the side in his 2nd inning of work. That one gonna reach its way out of play at 88. And I tell you what, USPBL has kind of had the reputation of a pitcher's league, and if you continue to get the caliber of starters that we have here, and we've gotten a few more, filtering in lately. We're excited to see Nick Leo, who's going to come into the bullpen as well, into the Texas organization. This is going to be a bear for these hitters. If you want a challenge, come to the USPBL to develop.
And it's already been a bear, but it's not going to get any easier.
It's almost like, obviously, it's a developmental league on a lot of standards, and certainly with the delivery value system and the pitching end, it calls for that. But developmental in the sense of if you're looking to go from NAI or Division II or Division III or even some Division I to the pro level, you're going to see the pitching you're going to see at the next level here for sure.
Absolutely.
So that stuff kind of works it out.
You look at some of these individual bullpens, like the Unicorns, just as an example. You've got a swing guy like Comitas, who basically hasn't given up any hard contact or any hits to speak of really the whole season so far, and a guy like Goodson with just electric stuff and more of a setup type role, and then Clenny's been an all-star closer. It's in a 7-inning game, how are you going to score off that team exactly?
We'll see Comitas get his 3rd start on Saturday in Game 1 of the doubleheader. There's the 2nd out into the arms of Romero Harris. Let's take a peek at the defense behind A.J. Coleman here today. It's Riles in left, Harris in center, Oland in right. Smith and Ron Williams Jr. on the corners. Geely and Cuevas up the middle, and Comer completing the battery here today. Comer's caught nearly every game for this Beavers squad.
It feels that way. They've got Shoemaker on that roster too, but he's played some first, DH. He's caught in the doubleheaders.
Shoemaker DHing again here today. That's, I guess, how the versatility of a guy like Austin can pay off, because serving as a primary taxi squad guy, he's kind of been a first baseman regularly for one team and then the next a catcher, and sometimes in between with the designated hitter spot as well.
I don't think they see him as a taxi squad guy necessarily going forward. It seems like he's going to settle into this role with the Beavers.
That makes sense with Xavier Warren kind of out of the equation. It was a couple weeks where we looked at each other and thought, is Xavier Warren an everyday Beaver?
Right. Yeah.
Him and Weimer were kind of hitting in the heart of Von Joshua's lineup. I'm sure he would have liked for that to have been the case.
Yeah, they just don't need they certainly don't need the catching as much. So if the idea is to get him more innings behind the plate, it makes more sense for him to be a hopper.
Oh, and 2 quickly on Zach Ray. 304 average, 443 on base percentage for Zach. He has had a home run to the opposite field where the wind is blowing directly out here today. 1 to left center, 2 to right center, right around that stage out there.
Yeah, the one that he hit opposite field, I believe, was on the 4th of July, second game of the year. It was one of the best balls hit of that weekend by far.
3-game hitting streak for Zach now. He was 3 for 3 in his last game with a home run and a pair of RBIs. And that's good to see out of this at-bat. You look at his last 6, and he's got a hit in every game but one back on August 14th. Good eye there. Low at 88. The count evened at 2-2 here.
That was a pitcher's pitch there. Could have gone either way. I think Coleman threw it where he wanted to throw it.
Strikeout looking to Miles Miller to begin things, and the 1-out walk by De La Cruz. He stands at first.
He might run here
with 2 outs.
No, he didn't.
It's funny to see Adam De La Cruz in that uniform, isn't it?
It sure is.
You looked down at first and was like, that's not Adam.
I had to look down at my notes to make sure it was him.
There he is. Held on by Ron Williams Jr. here today. A versatile guy in the infield for the Beavers. Kind of played all over. According to need, he is moving now, as this one is off the glove of Comer. There's a TCF Bank stolen base here in the first. Every stolen base this season will be a small fund attributed to a local charity here in Macomb County. 3-2 on Zach Gray. Doesn't swing and miss very often, just 8.4%. That's because he does that a lot and has a great eye. 14th walk of the year. It's funny to look down at the stat sheet and see 13 walks and 15 Ks for Zach Gray, because, you know, throughout his career and certainly all of this year, it wasn't like that. You look at his last 10 games, he has 9 strikeouts, so that's kind of where that has come from. But, I mean,
they came in bunches.
They did. He had 3 back at the beginning of that stretch, 2 the following day, and then 1 all the way down and up.
Still not a bad ratio when you're a guy who can hit it out of the ballpark. I know he wants it to be better, but that's certainly not something that jumps off the stat sheet as being a negative.
One of your home run derby participants. Here's the 1-0. On the ground to Freddie Geely. As sure as they come for out number 3 here. Pair of walks for A.J. Coleman, but that's all that becomes of it as the defense responds. Well, on a strikeout as well by A.J. More after this on the USPBL Network.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Want to hit your home cleanup project out of the park? Well, making sure that your driveway is safe from damage? Rent a rubber-wheeled trailer from GFL and keep all of your bases covered. Our trailers come in 20 and 30-yard sizes for all your cleanup needs. Call GFL today to order your driveway-safe rubber-wheeled trailer. Team GFL, helping you win your cleanup project.
Take a look at your kid of the game, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. It's Chuck Valtema, Wass Elementary. It's where he hails, age 5, likes playing baseball and hockey, and likes the superheroes as well.
Nice. He looks like he really crowds the plate there, doesn't he?
Just a little bit.
I like his...
He's got that high...
Yeah, holds the hands high. Looks like he's trying to get on base anyway. I like it.
Jamon Taylor.
Wonder what his favorite superhero is.
I don't know. It's a good question. Jamon Taylor, 6 foot tall, right-handed pitcher out of Coppin State, getting his 3rd start here tonight. 8 innings, surrendered thus far, 3 runs, 3 earned. Just 1 walk compared to 6 strikeouts, and this is a guy they're still trying to really build up. I mean, 55 pitches his first outing, 57 his second outing. So all things considered, he's thrown kind of more innings than we saw a lot of these guys do at the beginning of the year. So he's obviously thrown some before coming to the USPBL. 27 innings here last year with a 2.63 ERA. It's TJ Riles, Freddie Geely, and Romero Harris, your Zach Hart agency 3-men due up here in the first. 0-0 after a pair of walks by A.J. Coleman in the first. Nice, easy play by Geely. Then went 4-3 to end the threat. And he will bat second here behind T.J. Riles, who's kind of settled into that leadoff spot for the Beavers now. Gray for out number 1. Take a look at the defense behind Jamon Taylor here today. You have Greg Vaughn Jr. in left, Miller in center, and McKinley in right. De La Cruz and Gray on the corners, and Pontius and Maselli up the middle with Warren behind the dish here tonight. Expecting to kind of see Xavier Warren catch 2 out of the 3 games each week, and then you have Antonio Torres, who will get a start, which means for the most part that De La Cruz will be at third base. And then he has the opportunity as a utility man to move into the outfield if they need him there, or
sure,
second base like we've seen from the Unicorns so far this year. Fastball, slider, changeup for Jamon Taylor. Fastball will reach 91, at least from what we've seen so far. It's a lot of swings and misses on that changeup. Doesn't throw it all too often, though.
I'd be interested to know how he grips his changeup, because it's got a similar spin rate to his fastball, which is unusual. Even though it's, probably 6 miles per hour slower, it's interesting that it would spin in a similar manner.
What would that normally indicate, you think, in terms of the grip?
Probably something where he's, not choking the ball a whole lot. Maybe he's just putting 3 fingers on it instead of 2, something like that. Just something to slow it up in more of a mild manner, not something that changes the spin as much like a split finger would, or like a circle change would. It's very unusual, though.
That looked possibly like the changeup grip there. Here's the 2-2. Past the outstretched glove of Zach Gray into right. In the end, it looked like the slider.
Yeah, it looked
was
more
the
like a
velocity
slider.
was
Yep.
76. Some guys do that, right? They kind of grip one way before every pitch and then change it when it's in the glove.
Yeah, the changeup, oftentimes, depending how you grip it, is the hardest one to grip. So sometimes they just grip it that way all the time, and then they'll just change from it when they get into their glove. Just talked to a pitcher about that today. I noticed he was holding his grip, whatever he was actually throwing, he was holding it at the side. And somebody, a coach or really anybody can see that if you hold it at the side.
It's the easiest way to tip your pitches, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, even if you have to at least pretend like you're changing it in your mitt. I always thought it was easiest, especially, in the stretch, to just hold the ball in your mitt, and then when you come set, you can change it.
Miss Sally can't make the play, and trying to go first to third is Freddie Geely, who will do that with ease.
That changes the whole inning. You got an easy 6-4-3 there. It looked like he just took his eye off it for a second. He was thinking about the flip, a split second too soon. And now we've got first, third, one out. Really changes the whole inning.
So Cameron Comer trying to do some damage. Boy, has he done some damage lately. 8 for his last 11. And Dan, as we were looking at a 230, 240 average just, it seemed like a week ago, he's now hitting 320.
Right. He got hot fast. And this is more what we expected out of him, but he started the season a little cold. I think this is more the norm, though. This is really what we expected out of him.
Vaughn Joshua was working with him, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago about that load, and he'd seemed to figure it out, getting that foot down maybe a little bit quicker. Holds in an extra beat here in the 0-1, comes home as that one sneaks inside at 90. They were worried more so about his front foot not coming down. Jumping at the baseball a little bit too much. Tried to slow down the rhythm of the swing of Comer.
You've got to have your feet underneath you and your legs underneath you, or else the rest of it's not going to matter too much. I remember just thinking back to a Tiger that had that issue, Austin Jackson, for a long time. He had that big leg kick, and when he was going bad, he would start rotating before that front foot hit the ground. Really changes everything. You have no base, no power.
Where is Austin these days? Is he with the Giants?
That's a good question. I lost track of Austin.
I know he had seen.
Played a good center field. He was a big part of that Scherzer trade too. Obviously Scherzer was the biggest piece, but Austin Jackson had a few good years.
3-2 here on Cameron Comer. Runners on first and third with one out.
He was also a piece that brought David Price. He was part of that trade.
Fly ball to left field. That's going to carry in today's win. Vaughn Jr. going to the track. Stretches out to make the catch. But Geely is going to tag up and score. And just like that, it's 1-0 Beavers here in the first.
Nice piece of hitting there by Comer. He's a guy who can potentially be a double play guy. So in a first-third situation, he really needs to look for a ball he can elevate, and that's exactly what he did. Got his RBI.
Now Alec Olin will get his first shot here. So it looks like Jackson has not played in the MLB since 2018. Time with the Mets and the Giants at that point.
Okay, I didn't realize it had been that long. The years go by quick in baseball.
Don't they?
Seemed like he was a prospect not that long ago. Now he's been out of the game for a little bit.
Chasing Harris back over at first. He does have some good speed over there. Here's the 1-0. High at 88. 2-0 on Alec Oland. 143 average for Alec. Has driven in 4 runs, walked 7 times compared to 17 Ks, and that's kind of what drove him down from the top of the order. All the strikeouts that he's gotten lately. Pontius is able to capture the easy out there, so 1 run is the damage. Sac fly by Cameron Comer as he continues his good play lately. Now time for Freaky Fast Trivia, brought to you as always by Jimmy John's. What 3 ingredients make a Moscow Mule?
I don't like the Moscow Mule, and I believe I don't like it because I don't like ginger beer.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with D.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
There you go.
Correct. Okay. All right.
Freaky Fast Trivia brought to you by Jimmy John's here today.
Everybody loves those, it seems like, except me.
USPBL.com/shop is your place for everything USPBL gear. You have the hats there, the uniforms. We saw those Sharp Hoppers jerseys the other day with the spots.
I decided what I'm going to buy next, I think.
Did you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Hoppers BP hat, which is the orange one with the frog face on it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think it's kind of a meshy material for BP, I think.
Jane Shoemaker on Facebook says, "Go Beavers," sporting my new Beavers shirt today. So which kind did you get, Jane? Remind you can chat with us on Facebook and YouTube. Tina Marie Schneider says, "Looks like a nice eve in Utica, Michigan." It certainly is. It's going to get a little hotter here in the next few days than what we saw at the beginning of the week. It was chilly walking out of the ballpark yesterday. A lot of you weighing in on your player of the game selections on the respective chats and your final score predictions as well. Get those in before it's too late. Second inning of work here for A.J. Coleman. Struck out the first man he saw, then walked De La Cruz. Got a fly out from Xavier Warren, walked Zach Gray, and got a easy ground out to Geely. They would like to see him cut down on those walks. And it's not been a huge issue, but he's a control guy, so seeing 11 walks to 27 Ks is maybe a little bit more elevated than you'd expect, but still, I mean, that's good.
Mm-hmm. You want a guy like this to get quick outs, ideally, ground balls. It's pretty good 6-hitter right here.
Yeah, Trevor McKinley kind of shifting down in the order a little bit. We've seen him hit in the heart of the Hoppers lineup, but you're going to see potentially decisions like this, certainly with Gray and Warren and Mahalik hitting 3 through 5. Kind of reminds you of Victor Martinez hitting 6th in the heydays.
Right.
With Cabrera and Prince Fielder. 2-1 on McKinley.
I was against that, too. I would have moved all those guys up.
You're going to talk to Jim Leland about his lineup? Are you serious?
No, I didn't say I was going to talk to Jim Leland. I was just talking to myself, that's all.
That's a no-no.
He did not like to talk about lineups. He's probably a guy who couldn't come up now. You know, he came up during his time, but if he were to come up now, it'd be a battle.
3-2 to Trevor McKinley. Ground ball percentage for A.J. Coleman just 33%. When you look at some of the elite, you get to the 50% type of ranks for these sinker ball pitchers. So they'd, I'm sure, like to see that go up a little bit more.
Certainly.
Swinging strike rate of just 8%.
It's too many of these deep counts, I think.
It's already his third 3-2 count in this game. There's a high chopper. Geely took a great route to it.
He did a nice job on that pitch. You have to keep in mind, you know, the hitters are going to get themselves out a lot of the time. You know, you've got to go back to a superstar hitter hits 300. That's 3 out of 10. You know, let them trust your stuff a little bit. Let them make their own contact and take your outs.
Here's Greg Vaughn Jr. now. 5 for 31 start for Vaughn. He's hit it hard, though. I mean, you look at an average exit velocity of 92, his max 101.9. 0 for 2 in his last game with a couple flyouts and a hit by pitch. And that one game lately where he made a big impact. He's drawn his walks lately as well. 2 games ago, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Waiting in the 1-1 here. Whittled foul. Anthony Maselli, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here. Then it would be Jordan Pontius to complete the order. Vaughn hitting 7th here tonight. Ten walks to 13 strikeouts, so his on-base number is not as bad as the average would signal. Here's the 1-2. Another bounding ball. Cuevas. Compact motion, 2 up and 2 down.
Well, you challenged him to get more ground balls, and he's responding.
Got the earpiece in.
Right.
Jane Shoemaker responses. She says, the red shirt, Beavers baseball established since 2016.
Yes.
We see Jeremiah Hergott, our producer, wear that quite a bit. Our graphics man as well, PJ Gradowski, our director here tonight. Thank everyone for tuning in on this fine Thursday evening for some baseball. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call. It'll be Dan and Dan tomorrow, and for the next couple days, Dan York is going to fill in for me on Friday and Saturday in the doubleheader. Here's the 0-1. Outside. It's to the point where the shadows are covering half the pitcher's mound and pretty much everything else for the batter.
As tall as Coleman is, the ball starts out in the light and then it comes into the dark.
And remember, the mound here in the USPBL a little bit higher than everywhere else. It's been kind of a adjustment, certainly, for some of these pitchers when they first come here. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a tap foul.
That can help lead to better pitching as well.
Yeah, it was after 1968, right, that they lowered that mound in Major League Baseball, the year of the pitcher.
Yes. Denny McClain and his 31 wins.
So even back in 1968, they were worrying about the hitters.
Right.
Like they are here today, it seems like. Line drive to center. Harris can't track it. It'll go all the way to the wall. Maselli burning his way to second base, and he has a 2-out double here in the second.
He needed that one. Hasn't been swinging it as well lately, but even more than that, I think he'd love to have that double play ball back from the last inning, and he didn't take that mistake up to the plate with him, which is ideal.
Harris was playing in, as we get a look at our YouTube monitor here, and I'm not sure he tracked it extremely well at the bat because he was kind of going halfway in terms of the run back to the fence. Because that's a guy who can catch up with the baseball, certainly. Brings up Jordan Pontius. $123 in the average column. He's making contact 82% of the time. And is only swing and missing 7% of the time. Batted on balls in play is low still for this right-handed batter. Here's the 0-1. Tough bounce for Ron Williams Jr. It's probably going to score a run. Olin lining up a throw, and that one's blocked in front of the plate by Cameron Comer, and just like that, we're tied.
That was a tough hop. I don't know how they'll rule that one. I think it's probably a hit just because it was a pretty tough hop.
I agree. I mean, he would have had it if it bounced normally to him. I mean, great position, just kind of hopped over the glove.
Really, both runs so far probably not runs that should have scored.
That is how they ruled it a hit. It's the second hit of the inning, and in total, the Hoppers had 2 walks back in the first. It was De La Cruz and Gray who were stranded on first and second by A.J. Coleman. So a tough earned run for him because he's out of the inning if Williams Jr. gets a good bounce.
Right. And on the flip side, Jamon Taylor would have been out of that inning with a double play ball. Although you can't, assume double play balls as it comes to your ERA.
Ouch, that's hard off the leg. It looked like of Miles Miller back to the leadoff spot in the lineup here. Miles Miller struck out looking back in the first, so they've already gone all the way around. We'll give him some extra time to try to shake that off. So runner on first with 2 outs. Retired the first 2 men he saw, and then the 2-out double that rose into the gap in left center field. He's going to check his swing there on the changeup for ball 1. So Miller, native of Windsor, Ontario here, as this one's a fly ball that chases Harris back. Took a good route on it and got the beat for out number 3.
Directly over his head. That's always a tough ball to track.
Did a nice job to work out of things here. Now, time for your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot here tonight. It's Hunter versus Buzz.
All right.
You see Chelsea Estes handling the in-game duties here tonight. She'll make an appearance on our broadcast in a couple innings as well. So Buzz is going to take the track start here. Look at that.
Wow.
And he's
celebrating already.
He's just doing his own thing here. And Hunter decked out in the orange here today. Missed second base, but nobody saw that, right?
Buzz is...
He's running in his flip-flops, though, Dan. That's not easy.
That's true. He's taking a better route than Buzz, too. Buzz is doing his best Kurt Bavacqua celebration impression all the way around the bags. He's got a little cocky. He got cocky kind of early.
Back with more after this on the USPBL Network.
DTE Energy customers can get their share of huge lifetime energy cost savings. How? By using our website. The Oslin's new programmable thermostat saved them a bundle. And their new efficient furnace earned them a hefty rebate. All over Michigan, people like the Oslins are saving. Why not you? There are always new ways to save at dteenergy.com/saveenergy. DTE Energy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Jimmy John's Field. Beautiful sky. Kind of the broken clouds. We've seen some really billowy clouds lately over Jimmy John's Field. Some picturesque moments for sure. Jamon Taylor on for his second inning of work here. You look back to the first, got a leadoff out, then the single directly after that by Freddie Geely. The error by Harris put runners on first and third, and then the sac fly by Comer made it 1-0 at that point.
Yeah, I caught a bad break there with the error on the ground ball, certainly, but it's his job to turn the page now on that and move on.
Bad break there, and a bad break certainly for Coleman as he looked to be out of the inning after the 2-out double, but a bad hop for this man right here. Sent it into right field and played it a run. Single ruled off the bat in the end. Ron Williams Jr. with a .380 on base percentage. 9 walks to 10 strikeouts thus far. Got that bright red bat, the bright red gloves as well. He looks comfortable at any position in the infield he plays. I mean, we've seen him switch from first to shortstop at times in the middle of games based on a need.
Outfield, DH, he's done everything.
I think that happened when Sam Troyer went down. They're hoping Troyer can come back in a week or so, at least get reevaluated. after the broken hand. There was a stretch of like 2 or 3 games in a row where we saw guys go down after being hit in the hand, some worse than others. G. Lee was one of them. He bounced back.
We had a lot of hit by pitches for a while.
It's true.
It was consistent. Several per game, it felt like.
Those have slowed down. Here's the 1-2. Well hit to right field. McKinley. He seems to always have a great beat on balls, doesn't he?
He does. He gets good reads in right field.
Efficient pass. And he seems to get those type of balls where he has to go on the diagonal and get them more often than not in the gap. Or down the line. Austin Shoemaker this year, 3 doubles, 176 average. Looks at a fastball high at 89. Well, Jamon Taylor, described as one of the best people in this league. They say he has a great personality, and they like what he has on the mound as well. He's looking a little bit more comfortable every pitch he throws this year, as that's delivered outside the two-seamer again. 88. (2-0) is in there for strike one. So the shadow's now away totally from the mound, and now you have that big gap in right center field. McKinley needs the sunscreen for another inning, maybe. Shoemaker been a versatile part of whatever team he's played on. Designated hitter, first baseman, catcher. Kind of taking that catching mentality over to first base at times. Jalen Smith, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the second with 1 out. Here's the 3-2. In there for strike 3 at the knees. That's a tough pitch off the arm of Jamon Taylor, the two-seamer.
90 miles per hour and well placed.
2 outs, his first K in this game. That ratio continues to get better. Just 1 walk to 7 strikeouts now through 9 2/3. This is a guy they're still looking to get the bat going. 176 in the average column.
Does not have a hit for the Beavers yet, though. He's been jumped around various teams, but does not have a hit in this uniform.
There's the slider at 73 up and in. Here's a 2-0. Can't seem to control that slider. 3-0 now. He was riding a 3-game hitting streak, was Jalen Smith before his last start. Just 3 for his last 25. 2 walks and 3 Ks in that stretch. Had that big walk-off hit for the Mammoths a few weeks back. Big swing and a miss at 90 miles an hour there.
We saw that a lot out of Taylor in his last outing. He would climb the ladder with that fastball. He got it by a lot of guys.
Smith does have one of the higher launch angles in this league, 22 degrees. Here's the 3-2. Just got a piece of that.
Looks like Taylor recognizes that when somebody has that type of launch angle, you can climb with that fastball and have a lot of success. It's very hard for them to make good contact on that. They have to be very precise and very quick.
With that said, though, his swing and miss rate only 11%, so you can do worse, certainly, with a swing like that.
They may not be pitching him right for that, to combat that.
You'd also like to see his hard hit percentage go up because he's only at 80%, or 8%, I beg your pardon. That's ball's 95 miles an hour and higher, as this one is punched into right. Just a nice floating, sinking ball for a 2-out knock here in the second.
They'll take it.
Here's Cuevas now. Only his second game in the USPBL, 1 for 3. Hitting 9th here today for Vaughn Joshua's team. Then they'll turn it back to TJ Ryle should they get another base runner on here. Just kind of has that straight up and down stance, doesn't he?
Yep.
What do you get out of that normally?
I sort of like it. I think it tends to make you a little bit more linear in your swing as opposed to pulling off the ball and, getting overly rotational. Linear is kind of a more front to back, driving through the ball type of a swing, whereas guys who are really rotational, they can usually pull the ball hard, but they might have trouble driving the ball the other way.
There's that wind blowing straight out to left and left center.
The downside of being real straight up and down is you make your strike zone a little bigger, as opposed to those guys who crouch a little more and their strike zone shrinks like a Ricky Henderson or a Tony Phillips type.
Solid hit up the box there. Off the bat at 91. Now there's runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the second. Turning it over to a guy who has some pop as well, and TJ Riles. TJ Riles, the son of a big leaguer, Ernie Riles. There's quite a few in this league in terms of big league connections. Greg Vaughn, obviously the father of Greg Vaughn Jr., playing here tonight as well.
And, of course, A.J. Coleman, who we're watching tonight. Grandfather Jim Perry, the former Cy Young winner.
Swing and a miss there by Riles.
I think more people know his, what would be his great uncle, Gaylord Perry, who is a Hall of Famer and, of course, famous for shamelessly doctoring the ball with various things over his career and being very adept at hiding it for the most part.
Where are we at with those things? It's really
doctoring the ball.
Yeah,
it's. Well, the last time I remember hearing a ton about it, at least locally, was in the playoffs in 2006 with Kenny Rogers. That was
they made a T-shirt out of that, didn't they? The unclean hand or whatever they were.
He had pine tar, I guess, on his hand. Some guys don't really have a problem with something like that. They feel like it's helping you grip the ball better and not necessarily something that affects the spin of the ball. People just have various. It's like anything. Some of these unwritten rules and written rules. There's a lot of gray area.
Michael Pineda. Certainly back in 2014, they made a big issue out of that with the pine tar on his neck, as this one has popped up to Greg Vaughn Jr. for out number 3 here in the second. Jamon Taylor bounces back with a scoreless inning. It's tied as we head to the third after this.
Looking for a great rate on a new vehicle? Introducing our credit union's Drive promotion with rates as low as 1.89% and no payments for 90 days. Or refinance and save on your current auto loan with our 1% lower guarantee. You can now get pre-approved and close a loan remotely with our convenient online application process. Stop in today or visit ourcuonline.org/drive to drive away happy.
A.J. Coleman on for his third inning of work here. If it wasn't for the tough bounce to Ron Williams Jr., his squad would still be leading 1-0. Instead, Misselli driven around. Pontius granted a base hit off the tough hop, and immediately after that was able to induce a line out off the bat of Miles Miller. 2-3-4 coming up for the Hoppers here in the third. It's Adam De La Cruz, Xavier Warren, and Zach Gray. That look brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. De La Cruz, one of those 2020 All-Stars. Certainly deserved that 276 average coming into play here today.
What do you think? You think this is the best 2-3-4 potentially right now?
It might be.
De La Cruz,
Warren,
so. Gray?
Yeah, absolutely. Some contact ability in there, some drawing walks, and some power. And kind of you can say the same thing for every guy. I mean, you look at Xavier Warren, high walk guy, Zach Gray, high walks.
Right.
De La Cruz, high walks, 15 walks to 9 Ks, and they all have some power. We haven't necessarily seen it out of this right-handed bat so far. He has 4 doubles to speak of and 4 RBIs, but, you know, kind of talking to Jim Essien throughout the stretch of this season, he thinks, you know, De La Cruz is going to have that 3 or 4 game stretch where he hits doubles into the gap and hits some over the left center field fence. Just has that type of swing.
But he gets on base, and we've already seen that today.
16th walk of the year back in the first.
Another.
And there's one roped on the left field line. He's got the speed to edge this out if he wants to. Good turn around the first base bag, waving that arm, and looks like he's gimpy on the ankle maybe?
We'll see how serious that is.
Because I thought for sure he would make that turn and head to second base.
It was a pretty good play in left field.
Take a second look at our YouTube monitor. You might not see him round the bag.
Might not see it on the monitor. Yeah, he definitely came up a little bit.
Maybe favoring that left side.
Yeah. Looks like at least he feels like he's okay. Took a decent secondary lead there.
That's something that people don't understand. I'm not saying you necessarily did it on the base, but the base is hard. I mean, that can happen if you stop on the base. That's why, you know, you're not taught to necessarily do that, trying to edge out a base hit down the line. And what's the key to kind of rounding first? Is it the same for rounding first, second, and third, or are there different strategies that you want to employ?
Well, first, the unique thing about first is that you have to round it into foul territory and try to hit the inside of the bag. I think what happened to him there is he really was thinking very seriously about going to second, and it was just more of an unnatural move. He kind of stopped himself, I think, at the last second. Ideally, if you're going to stop on a base, you want to plant your foot on it and then sort of make the turn with your body and put your other foot sort of behind your back to make it more stable. You can't stop dead on the base with your momentum. You need to kind of roll into it, sort of like a pivot in basketball.
One and two here on Xavier Warren. And that hit him. So first and second to begin the third inning now for A.J. Coleman. And Zach Ray seeing the eyeballs light up here.
Yep.
I think that was just off the shoe top, huh?
He literally tried to throw the back foot slider there, I think. That's exactly where it went. in that term really just kind of refers to a slider from a right-handed pitcher into a left-handed hitter in this case, where it comes in on you a little bit when it breaks.
Off the bag, Ron Williams Jr. Nobody can get it as it goes into right field, and now they try to score a run. They will, and both base runners will advance to scoring position now. So Gray thinks, oh, I might have just hit into a double play, but now he's on second base and he's driven a run in.
Well, that was just a comedy of errors there, and Ron Williams is wondering what the heck is going on with the ground in front of first base, because he's had a couple of awful nightmare hops today. But because it was a ground ball to the right side, Coleman went that way instead of backing up a base, and then when Olin kind of airmailed that throw home, there was nobody there backing it up, so everybody moved up one.
That has been ruled a hit. Second hit of the inning. Won't get the RBI, you wouldn't think.
He might. I think you know, you can't assume that he's going to get thrown out at home there, I don't think. I think he was probably going to score on that. So I would probably grant him the RBI there.
0-1 on Riley Moholic. He is 0 for 1 as well. Ground out back to the second baseman to end the first. A.J. Coleman able to strand 2 walks in that one. Coleman just not as crisp here tonight.
No, he's not. And there's, you know, the margin for error there is not big.
Here's to 0-2. Looking for an out. He got one with the swing and miss by Moholic. Second strikeout of the game for A.J. Coleman here, compared to 2 walks and a hit by pitch.
He needed that strikeout very badly. That was a big pitch. This is a big at-bat here, too. They're conceding the run in the middle, so really any ground ball, probably besides, I'd say, the pitcher's mound and maybe third base, should score a run. Most fly balls are going to score a run.
McKinley puts a charge into one high in right field. Olin looking up to the track, and it's gone! Off the berm in right field. Big time 3-run shot here in the third, and the Hoppers up big all of a sudden.
It was a nice piece of hitting there. He's not really trying to hit a home run on that ball, but I think he was looking for a ball he could elevate, and that's exactly what he did, and he got more of it than maybe he even anticipated, and it kept running.
I think Olin thought he had a chance at it as he drove it all the way to the warning track. First extra base hit for Trevor McKinley, or check that, third extra base hit. He had a pair of doubles coming in here today, but his first USPBL home run. And now the base is clear with Greg Vaughn Jr. coming up here and trying to add to the party all of a sudden.
Starting to get some stir now in the Beavers bullpen.
There really isn't a lot of available arms here today, unless you count some of the starters. I mean, Marco Becerril is listed as a available arm. He's going to start Sunday. Justin Revels is going to start the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday. So maybe he could go 1 inning, unless you adjust, you know, how you're going to go with the starting pitchers, which they could.
I would think Jack Ferguson's going to be in the mix somewhere.
Jared Price, more your back-end guy, also listed as a available arm.
Usually when you got Coleman out there, you're going to get some innings. So, you know, I don't think they expected to need a lot of available arms.
Big timeout. It's the second one of the inning. This is already the 7th batter to the plate in Anthony Maselli. So that's Gavin Wayman, it looks like, who's getting up and loose. Just kind of stretching out the arm.
He was in more of a setup role the last time we saw him. Against the Hoppers, actually, in a victory.
Wayman is not projected to start this week, so that is an arm that I missed, I guess, in that group right there. There's another line drive to right, chasing Olin back. That's 2 hops across the warning track. And yet another extra base hit here in the 3rd inning with 2 outs.
Hoppers would love to see Maselli get hot. He's a guy that Hasn't started the way that they expected, I don't think, but someone with a good reputation for getting on base a lot and has some pop in his bat.
So here's Jordan Pontius now. He had a single and an RBI back in the second, beneficiary of that hop down the line. Pontius just 5 for his last 30. Scuffling of late. Just 1 hit in his last 5 games. You're right about Maselli, though. 14 walks to 14 Ks. He's a guy who led off, really, to start the first half of this season, if you want to look at it that way, for Paul Noce. He's been continually dropping the order. We've seen him hit 7th lately and now 8th here tonight. And quietly, he has a 3-game hitting streak, does Maselli.
Seeing 2 extra base hits tonight is a really good sign.
Jordan Pontius, the 8th man to bat against A.J. Coleman here in the 3rd. The battle for second place. It's been that way all season long, with the Unicorns looking down on everybody.
I think they'll have to fend off one of these teams eventually.
Good stop by Comer. Going to have a shot at getting a throw down, but that was a pitch that was way outside, and he did all he could to get the chest protector on it.
Good base running there by Maselli. That's not always a ball that you can move up on. Have to get a good read on it.
Deborah Osich on Facebook says, beautiful night. I so miss spending time at Jimmy John's Field. I think I'm going through withdrawal. Say hello to Andy and Dana for me. Here's the 2-2 well outside. 3-2. Tony DeCiccio says, go Anthony. Your host family is watching. Quite a few Hoppers fans on the YouTube stream commenting throughout tonight's game as well. This one sprayed into right field, and that's 2 base knocks the opposite direction for Jordan Pontius now.
When's the last time we've seen him with 2 hits and 2 RBI? I think it's been a while, if at all.
And boy, we're talking about this lineup. Now, De La Cruz, Warren, Gray in the middle. You have Maselli. I mean, if you continue to see that pack kind of hit there, you'll probably see Maselli bat towards the bottom with some of the speed he has. And if Pontius can get it going, look out.
Yep. I always felt like this was going to be the best lineup in the league. At least that was our initial feeling. And they started out that way, too. But not as much lately. See if they can get heated up again now.
Vaughn Joshua making the slow walk out to the mound. There's nobody even throwing. Guys all stretching and hopping.
Looks like, I think that's Shoemaker walking down there now, probably to start getting somebody loose.
Becerril now stretching out. So you could see some shifting in the starters. And again, Becerril's not going through Sunday, so if you can get an inning or 2 out of him, that certainly helps.
Yep.
Look at that line of clouds.
They definitely didn't expect to go to anyone in the 3rd inning, that's for sure.
Not with A.J. Coleman on the mound.
Right.
Six to 1 in favor of the Hoppers here. They're just seeing everything drop here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, I would say that, Coleman hasn't caught any breaks, that's for sure. I don't think he's had a real sharp outing, but he also hasn't caught any breaks, just between bad hops and bloopers that have fallen.
Here's Adam De La Cruz for the 3rd time already. A walk, a single, scored a run back in the third inning has worked the count both times, 2-2 pitch and a 3-2 pitch. So the shortest outing since he's been stretched out for Coleman was 3 1/3. That was back on July 30th.
I don't think he'll make 3 1/3 today. I think they're just trying to get him through this one.
He gave up 9 runs that day, 8 earned through 66 pitches. By far the most runs he's given up. Second most was only 4 back in July as well on the 15th.
You can see his ball flatten out a little bit sometimes when he gets a little bit on the side of it. He's really got to command it down in the zone, getting his fingers on top.
0-2 on De La Cruz with 2 outs and runners on first and second. A 5 spot already on the board here. Williams Jr. and Oland, and
that's a great.
He nearly catches that ball down the right field line in foul territory.
That's a great effort by Oland in a 6-1 game and a long inning. That's a great effort in foul territory.
JJ's asking whether he should pop out and get that ball, I think. Just chilling in his doghouse, and all of a sudden he's got action over there.
Yeah, he's not used to the action getting that close.
Doesn't have the bat duties this inning. So they batted around. It all started with the single by Adam De La Cruz here in the third. Then the hit by pitch, then another single. Strikeout, home run, ground out, double, single, single. Has put us in a first and second situation, and 5 runs already in. Here's the 0-2. Off the glove of Comer. And now all of a sudden Pontius is at third and Miller on second.
You're a base hit away from being 8-1 here, and I think that would be the end of the night for Coleman.
Six runs off 8 hits and 1 error. 1 run off 3 hits and no errors on the other end. Awaiting the 1-2. Off the plate outside at 86. 2-2 here on Coleman. 75 pitches deep into this start. Gavin Wayman continues to go through the motions down there.
Tends to miss opposite arm side quite a bit, and of course I'm not the pitching guru that Justin Orenduff is, but it just looks to me like he's kind of getting his fingers on the side of the ball and sort of pulling in that direction instead of getting on top.
And that's the exact thing that they said after that 8-run outing as well. 9 runs in total, 8 runs earned. Just was having trouble getting on top of the baseball with the grip.
And that's very important for him with his arsenal. That's how he's going to get outs.
Waiting in the 3-2. Line drive to center. Harris ends the bleeding here, but they don't go quietly. Big time inning for the Hoppers in this new look offense. Paul Nochi's got to sit back and smile for what he saw here in the third inning. Most of them being hits. Now time for JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union. Down to Chelsea Estes now on the field. Now some trouble with Chelsea's mic down there as you get a look at JJ catching that frisbee. Melissa Gary Pacheshin on Facebook says, hope JJ will make the rounds. My grandson is dying to get a picture with him. Is that one of our fans in the ballpark here tonight. Down to Chelsea now.
Oh shoot, what did I say? Okay. Should I go? All right, everyone, it's time for JJ the Field General, brought to you by Michigan First Credit Union. This is the part of the game where JJ goes up to the umpire and brings him some water and a nice cold towel. It's to the point where the umpire's getting a little thirsty and he needs a little treat from JJ, but JJ does not go away until he gets a treat of his own. Now JJ's, of course, flying through the field, catching frisbees. And here's a fun fact for you fans. Did you guys know that JJ is only 3 years old? He's looking mighty fine out there tonight. All right, everyone, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. 2-3-4 coming up here for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. They're looking to get the bats going all of a sudden as they're down 8-1.
This is a huge
6-1, I beg your pardon.
Huge inning for Taylor here. If he can come out and have a shutdown inning here, that'll bode very well for the rest of the ballgame. You don't want them to get any momentum back.
Kind of feels like 8-1, doesn't it?
It did. We were a base hit away from that.
Maybe that's where I got that from. I blame you. This one
did say that.
Fouled off to Freddie Geely. 3-2, single, his first time up. '88 and by Freddie Geely here. He scored the one and only run for this team so far back in the first inning. Sac fly by Cameron Comer drove him in, and this one gonna drop for a single.
Change up, left up in the zone a little bit. Freddie hit it where it was pitched. Took a nice swing.
So Freddie Geely trying to get back into form. Just 6 for his last 33. He was a routine over 300 guy early on in the season. Jamon Taylor going to keep Geely close over there at first. Jamon coaxed the first 2 outs in the second, then gave up back-to-back singles before the flyout by Riles to end the mini threat. Harris playing center field again here tonight for the Beavers. Joey Weimer, a late scratch. Had some car troubles from what we understand, so hopefully he's able to get that worked out.
It happens with other people's work. It can happen with baseball.
It's funny to say, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but why wouldn't it happen once in a while?
True. These Michigan roads aren't.
It's not like these. It's not like these guys have chauffeurs or something in this league.
1-2 on Romero Harris. Pickoff move back over to first. Jeremy Hatto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here tonight. PJ Gradowski, our director. Jeremiah Hergon, our graphics man and producer here tonight, as Warren cannot quite block that one. What do you see out of the sample size that we've viewed Xavier Warren at the catching position thus far?
He's just okay receiving-wise right now. I think part of it is just a lack of familiarity with the pitchers. You know, he's been, as a taxi squad guy, it's tough to get to know any of the pitchers really well. He's only seen each of them once or twice. So there's some balls that he's missed, and you know, he let that one by him. You know, a similar guy like a Cameron Comer, I think, probably would have blocked it. He's just not quite there yet, but he's got to log more innings. That's all. It's not anything unexpected. He's very athletic, obviously, and I can see what Milwaukee likes in him. That's for sure. Having a catcher with that type of athleticism and arm and the ability to hit from both sides of the plate, very appealing.
Way high at 89. So now Jamon Taylor sits for a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's why that shutdown inning after a rally is tough, because you are sitting for a long time, and just mentally there's always that chance you're going to lose your concentration a little bit. You feel like you have a lead, you feel like you could relax, and those are all things you have to fight. It's really important to go out there and really shove it down their throat and keep your foot on the neck. You don't want to let your opponent up in baseball or really any sport. You've got them down. Let's keep them down. You got to have that killer instinct as a pitcher.
55 pitches so far for Jamon Taylor now. Time called at the dish here. Runner on second to start this third inning after the pass ball. The full count delivery. Bender inside. We've seen this happen before with Ty Hensley. He had a really good game going, just one base runner given up, and then 14 batters sent to the plate. And then he has a inning where he gives up 4 and 8 come to the plate. Not saying that's going to happen here, but it happens, certainly. When you're faced with that situation, Cameron Comer trying to get his team back in it. One swing of the bat would do them a lot of good right now.
Taylor really hasn't established his off speed yet in this game. He's been pretty good with his fastball, both command-wise and his velocity is solid.
Has been around 88, 89 so far with the fastball tonight. Came in throwing that 72%.
Yeah, he's real heavy on his fastball, more so than most of the guys we see in the league.
Swing and miss rate of 11%. Changeup has the highest at 20%, but he only throws it 10%. I know that's a lot of percents. So hopefully you understood. But
the question is, should he throw the changeup more, or is he effective with it because he doesn't throw it very much? The last he threw one to Geely in the first at-bat of this inning, and he just didn't get it down in the zone.
Some tossing going on in the Hoppers pen. Is that Nick Leo?
Could be.
Haven't seen him so far. The Texas prospect. He gets it up there 92, 93 from what we hear. Pleasant surprise to arrive at the ballpark yesterday and find out there's 3 Texas prospects in the USPBL now.
Yep.
Just like that.
Helps the overall quality of play, certainly, and it's a good thing for those guys, too. They can stay busy in a minor league season that otherwise was not happening.
Here's the even pitch now, outside at 90 miles an hour. Second 3-2 count to these Beavers here.
I, of course, have to resist the urge to root against Leo because he's a Western Michigan Bronco.
Big time rivalry, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure him and Dazon Cole will have a conversation about that.
Here's the 3-2.
Of course, he'd be throwing to a Chippewa's catcher today as well.
That's true. Xavier Warren, Dazon Cole to the better products lately out of Central Michigan, Mount Pleasant. Try the full count again. Popped him up. Will it hang up there for De La Cruz? Sprinted towards that quickly, and he got in place for out number 1.
Anytime you can get Cameron Comer out these days, you can feel good about yourself.
Sack fly and an RBI his first time up, but came into today 8 for his last 11. 2 RBIs in 3 games, added a third here tonight. Alec Olin trying to do some damage. Outside at 89. So spin rate of 2287 on that Fastball for Jamon Taylor, just over the major league average. Swivel on the head there as he looks back to second base to keep Geely close, and Olin just going to pop it out. Waiting on the 1-1. Here it comes. Popped him up down the first baseline. Long way for Gray. Can't quite get there. Paul Noce getting his tossing work in there. He's picked up quite a few balls down the first base line. This game just fell to a screeching halt, didn't it?
It did in the last half.
Here's the 1-2. Ooh, slider that nearly snapped off and hit him at 73. Two and two on Alec Olin. Ron Williams Jr. would be next. He's 0 for 1 with a lineout, and then Austin Shoemaker, if they can keep this going. Runners in first and second with 1 out. 6-1 Hoppers, thanks to their 5-run top half of the inning.
Taylor's really relying on one pitch right now, his fastball. He just hasn't been able to command that slider well enough today to be effective with it. He's getting away with it so far.
Harris on first, Geely on second, walking a single, and lunging at that one is Oland. 70 pitches now for Jamon Taylor. That last one at 88. Everybody at normal depth for the most part, middle of the infield. Looking to turn 2 if they can. Outfield kind of bunches him up in left center field. Here's the 2-2. Again, nearly hit him. Three and two now on Alec Olin, playing right field here today.
See if the Beavers try to force the issue here and run on this pitch. 3-2 with 1 out.
Would you?
Probably not.
Pretty good lead for Geely at second base. They're going to stay put. Romero Harris with a good secondary.
I think Olin traditionally has struck out a little bit too much for that. Could leave your runner hung out to dry. Although you do have a lead, it's I'm sorry, you don't have a lead, so you've got more of a deficit than I would really be comfortable with for that type of situation.
Second 3-2 count of the inning. Here it comes. Sky high pop up. De La Cruz gonna make another bid for it, but runs out of real estate. That hit something hard.
Yeah, I think it was the top of the Cabana Suites over there.
We'd love to come to a point where those things are full once again.
We can sprinkle them in a little bit, but definitely not full. We're able to sell a couple suites for every game here.
Leo continues to tune. Olin continues to battle, and he coaxes a walk, and the pond is full of ducks with 1 out here in the third. Ron Williams Jr. trying to get RBI 6, 7, maybe 8 or 9 if he trots around here.
Certainly a big at-bat. I don't know if they'll let Taylor face him or not.
Paul Noce will have a discussion here with Jamon Taylor. So after the 11-batter top half of the inning, it's been a laboring inning for Taylor. Dan, he came in with 45 pitches. He's now thrown 74.
And yet a run hasn't scored yet.
And that is going to be the end of the line here. Nick Leo coming on for his USPBL debut after this. Stick with us.
It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event going on now at Crest Lincoln. Schedule your remote experience today or visit us here and learn what it means to have vehicle ownership on your terms.
Find some peace this summer in the luxury of the 2020 Lincoln Nautilus. Lease today for only $359 per month. Or drive in comfort and style in the 2020 Lincoln Continental. Lease today for only $361 per month.
Make a summer memory today. Visit us at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop now at crestlincoln.com.
Detroit Mercy really models a value-based education. They focus a lot on service, which provides so many different experiences and opportunities that allows us to tie in everything we learn, how to apply that outside of the class.
There are a number of different programs that we're a part of to help bring the community back and revitalize the city of Detroit. Doing service with the community really helps bring Detroit Mercy outside of the gates and to everyone.
Detroit Mercy, build a boundless future.
Nick Leo making his USPBL debut here tonight. Last year in the Texas organization, short A ball with Spokane. Pretty good. 22 games in relief. 3.74 ERA. How about this, Dan? 10 walks to 58 strikeouts.
That's pretty good. You know, just looking at him for 5 seconds here, he looks like he'd be pretty effective against right-handed hitting, just the way that he lands, you know, sort of toward the right-hander's batter's box. Looks like it would be a very tough angle.
Did give up 5 home runs, so that's not something you necessarily want to do in relief, but for a first year in the minor leagues, not too bad. 6'5", 205, so he's got a good frame on him as well. First pitch to Ron Williams Jr. is a line drive to center. This should get the run in. G. Lee will score, and the Beavers get one back. It's 6-2.
A couple of pretty good swings from R.J. Williams already. You know, he's hit both balls pretty hard, one to right and one to center. This one gets an RBI out of it at least, but he's seeing the ball pretty well, it looks like.
So here's Austin Shoemaker now. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. That was back in the second inning. Dan mentioning Leo from Western Michigan. And now they're going to appeal to second base. And Harris did not leave early, according to our base pass umpire here tonight. Leo drafted in the 20th round, 599th overall. Gone is the reality of that, at least for now. 5 rounds this year in the Major League Baseball draft, so you miss guys like this.
Yep. Be interesting to see what they do going forward. I don't know that it's going to go back to 35, 40, 50 rounds the way it used to be.
Came out into the draft as a junior. Senior season had a 3.70 ERA for the Broncos. Mostly starts, though. 14 starts to 17 appearances. 36 walks to 85 strikeouts. Just an opponent's batting average of .228. Swing and a miss. And that will end the inning here in the third. He takes just 2 batters to do so. Bases were loaded. They do score a run. It's Freddie Geely who comes around, and that is why it's a 6-2 game.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Hi, I am Allison with the Sports Performance Tip of the Game, brought to you by DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. With so many options to choose from for a drink after a strenuous workout, which would you choose from? A, chocolate milk, B, a sports drink, or C, a soda? Well, if you said chocolate milk, you are correct. Chocolate milk is packed with carbohydrates and proteins and is a great option to replenish the fuel needed after a very hard workout or competition. It has double the value of a lot of the normal water or sports drinks and is a great option. Within 15 to 20 minutes after your workout is a very important time to replenish the fuel and set you up for success for that next training session. So don't forget to reach for a nice cold glass of chocolate milk after your workout.
Time for the Senior Spotlight, brought to you by Michigan School and Government Credit Union. Today I'm recognizing Ethan Price from Quesno High School. Ethan loves music, tennis, basketball jerseys, tennis shoes, and Jimmy John's. He was selected as an Evans Scholar and is headed to Michigan State in the fall. Go Green! Evan is graduating with a very impressive GPA of a 4.2. Congratulations, Ethan, and to all those seniors who are starting that next chapter of their life here within the next few weeks. Congratulations, and Jeremy and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Back at top, Jimmy John's Field here. Jeremy out alongside Dan Griesbaum to bring you the call here tonight. Gavin Wayman taking over on the mound here for the Beavers, looking for a stopper in a 6-2 game. It's a Hoffman Dental pitching change here tonight. Gavin Wayman, 5.54 ERA and 4 appearances thus far, 3 of them starts, 7 walks to 13 Ks.
We saw him give up that long home run to Gray the last time out. And he'll see him on deck here, I believe, this inning.
Fastball, curveball, changeup for Gavin Wayman. The fastball reaches around 88 with the high. So he will face Xavier Warren. A.J. Coleman, the last out he delivered in the third was a line out to Romero Harris. 11 batters came to the plate and 5 scored in the end. As this one taken down low. Warren today with a run back in the third after his hit by a pitch. He was the second batter in that monster inning. De La Cruz, Warren, Gray, McKinley, Maselli all scoring. The big blow was the 3-run home run by McKinley to right. Nice groove on that swing, Dan.
Very much.
Here's the 1-1.
It was a nice, easy swing. You know, he wasn't trying to do too much with that pitch, really. He was looking to get a ball that he could drive to the outfield just to get that RBI, and he got enough of it.
So at this point, they're hoping to get 2, maybe 3 innings here out of Gavin Wayman.
I would think so, yeah.
Guy who has obviously been stretched out so far this year. His last appearance on August 16th last week, 1 inning, 2 hits, a run given up, no walks to 2 strikeouts. Most pitches he has thrown, done it twice, 62 in his first 2 starts.
Yeah, Warren's taking some abuse today. Between the catching and got hit by a pitch, he just fouled that one off himself.
Can't get on top of the curveball there from Gavin Wayman. You look at his pitch selection, it's pretty much even across the board. 4-seam fastball, 25%. 2-seam fastball, 23%. Curveball, 24%. Changeup, 26%. And I know that won't add up for you math majors because I took out the 0.3s and 0.6 and 0.7. But
no need to comment.
If you can add that fast, more power to you. Warren has coaxed his count full here in the fourth.
Oh.
Way high. We've seen those type of balls here today, especially from Beavers pitching. A.J. Coleman just didn't get that right arm slot in the third, it didn't seem like. Not getting on top of the baseball, which is something that has been a problem for him in the last 3 or 4 starts. Not so much in the last start, but the start before that. And Wayman entering the game facing the meat of this order. Quite luminous here today. They haven't done the bulk of the damage, though.
True.
I mean, a single, a walk, a hit by pitch, and a walk. So not that they haven't done anything here today, but the power has come from
the bottom
4. 2 doubles and a home run, and also Jordan Pontius at the very bottom with 2 singles and 2 RBIs. Swing and a miss at the 2-seamer there. It's quickly 0-2 on Zach Gray.
I don't think he'll get away with that one too many times on Gray. He just barely snuck that one by him.
See what he comes back with here.
Might be the change again. It was a pretty well located change. Just missed.
It's the pitch he gets his most swings and misses on, 32%. By far. Everything else way below that. Inside 10 is... There's a big swing and a miss at the fastball for out number 1. Gray just didn't track it very well.
Yeah, he was really late pulling the trigger on the fastball there. I'm not sure if he was expecting more off-speed pitches. He did get a couple changeups, but he was just late to a very mediocre velocity fastball twice in that at-bat.
Mahalik trying to join the party. He is the only hopper to not reach here today. Everybody's at least had a hit or a walk. In Xavier Warren's case, everybody has a hit but him. It's a hit by pitch and a walk, but any way you can get on to help your squad, right?
Mahalik struck out with a couple of men in scoring position last time, which is not typical of him. He's usually pretty adept at putting the ball in play with men in scoring position.
11 RBIs to his credit so far this year. Here's the 1-0. Oh, fly ball to center. Harris started back, and it's going to see it drop there.
Harris needed to try to do a better job of deking the runner there. When you're a runner on first base, it's very hard to tell if he's going to catch the ball or not. And if he can get his hands up as if he's going to catch the ball, you have a better chance of freezing that runner. And if you field it on a hop, you can throw him out at second base.
So first and second now with 1 out. Here comes Trevor McKinley. He had a home run back in the third. A ground out to second base in the second. I apologize. Greg Vaughn Jr. has also not reached here today. He grounded out a couple times, and AB's in inning 2 and 3. But other than those guys, now Mahalik has taken himself out of that situation. Flub to second base, Geely for the second out. That's a whole new ball game at your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Right now, you can lease an all-new 2020 Chevy Equinox LT Forward for just $261 a month for 36 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. So Greg Vaughn Jr. looking to do some damage with runners on first and second. His squad up 6-2 in the top of inning number 4. In there for strike one at 87 with the fastball. That's the four-seamer. No action in the Hoppers bullpen, so we'll look to see Nick Leo go at least one more. Trouble for Romero Harris, and that one's going to hop out of play just to the left of the flagpole.
Did that hit the actual flagpole?
I don't know. They're not getting that call. Around third base is Greg Vaughn Jr. Is he going to get this one?
I think he might, unless the umpires talk about it here. They're going to have to talk about this. It either hit the batter's eye or it hit the flagpole. I don't know if we'll get a great look on our monitor or not. Harris really got turned around. It did hit the flagpole. Yep. So that's definitely a ground rule double. We only have 2 umpires in this league, so it is tough to see from that spot, and they are going to send them back to second. So that is the right call. Vaughn also did the right thing by going all the way around. You should do that to just ensure that you get credit for your run.
That's your Jaffe rate ruling of the game as the umpires came together. So Warren is allowed to score. Mahalik to third base. Vaughn Jr. to second. So the ground rule double as it hits the foul pole in right center. And
flagpole.
Yes, the flagpole. The foul pole would mean it's, I guess, out unless it's on a bounce.
Well, different location entirely.
7.
That saves at least one run, though, just the fact that it was a ground rule double, because I'm sure Mahalik would have scored otherwise if it stayed in the park.
7-2 here now as Anthony Maselli is trying to improve upon his already good day. 2 for 2, 2 doubles, 2 runs scored.
Something that's kind of lost in that play, too, is it looks like Harris is having trouble tracking the ball today. Not sure if it's a tough background for him today or what's happening there.
He's normally pretty sure-handed out there.
He is.
Waiting on the 0-2. Popped him up. Smith.
Oh.
Everything's a roller coaster here tonight in the last couple innings. Does secure the catch. Another run on the board for the Hoppers. They have a 7-2 advantage here on the USPBL network.
At midnight, when the ATM cruelly devours your card. At 6 a.m., when your credit goes down the drain. Or at 10 p.m., when you realize your credit card went on vacation without you. Michigan First is here. With our 24-hour call center, online banking with live chat, mobile banking, and branches near you. Michigan First. You have our attention 24/7.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
Clean innings just haven't been a thing here today. Nick Leo looking for that here in the 5th. Or in the 4th, I beg your pardon. It feels like the 5th, doesn't it?
Is it really only the 4th? It doesn't feel that way.
Nick Leo did a good job of kind of reeling in the 3rd inning. We saw a single, a walk, and then a pop-out for the first out. Another walk to load the bases. He got a sac fly ultimately off the bat of Ron Williams Jr. So the run scored, but then the strikeout to Austin Shoemaker. So all things considered, a good job to kind of weave out of that damage.
I'm predicting this will be the shutdown inning, the first one of the day.
Going out on a limb, aren't you,
well,
Mr.
not so much a limb, but it's just a dumb thing to say. If you're a baseball guy, you know that jinxes always happen in baseball. So I don't think it's a limb because this is a good quality arm on the mound, and I think toward the bottom of the order here, he certainly has a chance for a shutdown inning.
First pitch strike to Jalen Smith, 8-9-1 due up. It's Smith, Cuevas, and Riles, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up in the 4th. Here's a 0-1. Outside at 80.
Looks like we've seen basically fastball slider so far. Not sure if it's been a couple different looks on the fastball, 4-seam, 2-seam or not, but I think righties are going to have a tough time getting good swings on his fastball.
That had a spin rate of 24.54, equal to a curveball.
Right.
Average curveball in the major leagues. The 1-2 line drive to left as he just kind of swiveled the bat out there. And Greg Vaughn Jr. says hello for out number 1 in the 4th. 1 up and 1 down. We did see the first 2 men set down in the 2nd inning. That was against Jamon Taylor before a pair of 2-out singles and then the fly out to Riles to end the threat. We also saw A.J. Coleman do the same thing in the 2nd off back-to-back ground balls. And it was the bat of Maselli and Pontius who combined for the first run back then for the Hoppers. Seems like so long ago.
Right.
Fastball at 92 away. The gun may be slightly hot again here in the stadium. The flight scope, the analytics tracker to our left, run by Eric McKean here, said 90.9 on that previous pitch. So always something to look out for. Here's the 1-1. Good snap on that one for strike 2. We'll certainly learn more about the arsenal for this young man in Nick Leo as his time unfolds in the USPBL. Hear a lot of good things about him. 1-2 to De La Cruz, ate him up though.
We've seen some hops today. Some tough balls to play off the ground.
Some that have led to runs and extensions of innings. Just the kind of day it's been to be a pitcher out there here tonight and a fielder, I guess, for that much.
Assuming that's called a hit, that's a 2nd hit for Cuevas today.
14 hits on the board, and we're just in the bottom of the 4th in a 7-inning game. Strike 1 on TJ Riles. He's been kept hitless tonight, 0 for 2. Ground out to Gray over at first, and a fly out to Vaughn Jr. Back in the 2nd. One of those still nights again. The wind has died down. The crickets chirping. And the Clinton River, as this one is lined to center. And 1st and 2nd with 1 out here in the 4th. That's my new favorite part of, this ballpark. We get to hear a ton more sounds, whether it's the drag racers on the freeway or the crickets as the night starts to wear on, hearing them kind of trail into the outfield and our box here atop Jimmy John's Field.
I'd rather hear the chatter of a lot of fans, though, if I had the choice.
Sure, me too. First pitch to Geely is spoiled back. 91 on that fastball. The 0-1. Slider low at 81. So some good break on the slider here tonight. That one not so much. Could be a changeup. We're not exactly sure the full arsenal of Leo yet. Low and in. Geely today, a pair of singles. He scored twice as well, the only 2 runs for this Beavers squad. They play him shallow in left field as Vaughn Jr. pinches in and over. Deeper to the pole field and to center field as well with Miles Miller. Checks that runner on second, paying a lot of attention to Cuevas over there as that one escapes Xavier Warren, and both base runners will advance here in the 4th.
I certainly did my best to jinx him, didn't I? Of course we knew that was going to happen.
Second inning of work for Leo. First full inning here in the 4th. Told you what he did at the end of the 3rd to giddy up his way out of here. Still no action in either pen right now, so they want Wayman to at least go one more, and Leo to finish out this inning if he can. Pitch count already to 19. Full count as well on Freddie Geely, working the count his second time that he's run it to 3-2. He got that back in the 1st. He was on that 92-mile-per-hour fastball.
Did you get a chance to check out any of that Casey Mize outing last night?
I unfortunately did not. I got home and the internet wasn't quite working, so that's fabulous. 3-2 is
it's a nice spoiler right
line
there.
Foul. But I think, I was able to hear the very tail end as I hopped in the car on the radio, and he was just coming out of the game at that point.
I caught some this morning on the replay. He's got good stuff. He's going to be a good one, I believe.
How much did he show the splitter?
Enough to know it's a real good pitch. And
whittled back to Leo. He's going to look him back. He's still going to come home. They have a play at the plate. Got him! Good tag by Xavier Warren. Decent slide as well by Cuevas as he tried to get by. But in the end, the out is called.
Also just very ill-advised base running when you're down as many as they are.
More after this.
The difference that we bring to pediatric care isn't just the fact that we care deeply about our patients and want to partner with their parents in delivering the best care for their children, because a lot of pediatricians can deliver great care. What we do differently at Campground Pediatrics is we offer a different environment to deliver that care, and we offer personal service in a way that many practices can't.
All the opportunities I've been given, I would not have been able to get at bigger universities.
Here, the professor cares about your success and is willing to work for it with you.
So much preparation for the future.
I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the assistant manager with Daniel Jipping interview. It's brought to you by Green Path Art. It is currently 7-2. The Hoppers have been having fun tonight. We've seen doubles. We've seen a home run. We saw a great, double play here. Usually, the Hoppers have a hard time against the Beavers. They have an overall losing record, but not tonight. What's clicking with these guys tonight?
I just think they've been sticking to the plan. I just think it's just a new day, new week, and then they're able to get it going. I don't think it's much about the Beavers getting their number or whatever, but just how they played that day. So.
I know you wanted to give a special shout out to someone today.
My mom and dad, yeah, heck yeah.
Mom and Dad, hope you're watching. Jeremy and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. Kind of continuing that thought about Casey Mize into this inning here today. He threw 73 pitches last night, 7 hits given up in 4 1/3, 3 runs, all of them earned, but no walks to 7 Ks is something that sticks out. They knew that he would be stretched out a little bit more than Skubal because Mize obviously going through the summer camp down at Comerica Park, so they knew he could go a little bit longer.
I think the White Sox are an underrated lineup, too. He had a pretty good lineup to face last night. I think he would have beat a lot of teams with that arsenal. And really, it was his, third and fourth best pitches that kind of got him in trouble. He's got a cutter that he runs up there at about 89, and sometimes it just kind of spins and doesn't do a whole lot. He got in trouble on that a couple times, but when he sticks to his fastball split, he's very effective. And he's going to be very effective. Looks like he's got very repeatable mechanics. And
how about Tim Anderson? He just keeps on going.
I mean, the White Sox to me are a playoff team. I don't know that they're a championship contender, but I think they're a playoff team, and they're better than people realize.
379 average this year. And you do look, and we talked about this before, but his batted on balls in play, 413. He won the batting title by hitting 399 last year on batted and balls in play, and you'd think that's going to settle down, but it just hasn't.
I guess he just keeps hitting the ball hard. I mean, that's all it's coming down to. He just keeps hitting the ball hard.
That one high. You look at 2016, a batted on balls in play of 375, but he had a 257 average.
Right.
So
mm-hmm.
It's interesting stuff, and becoming one of those Tiger killers, as there always seems to be one in the Central Division. And I'm sure, the Tigers aren't alone in that. Baseball has that opportunity in a normal season when you play your interdivision teams so often. We've talked about it here, kind of hitters getting used to what they see out of pitchers in general. 3-2 to Pontius is sprayed to the gap in right center field. He's going to run. That's into a trouble spot there. He's on his way to second base. He might have 3 out of this. There he goes in stride, and he's going to get there standing up. Wow. Jordan Pontius today with 3 hits on the board.
By far the best day we've seen out of him offensively. I think he's gone opposite way with everything too, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. 2 singles sprayed just in between the first and second baseman, and now that one lifting it in the air.
Hoppers are going to have a lot of good days if Pontius has multi-hit games.
He came in with just 7 hits all season long in 57 ABs. He's nearly gotten half of those alone here tonight.
He's playing like he wants to keep that job at second base. They've got De La Cruz on this team now. They've got pretty good infield depth, but he's hitting like he wants to hang on to that job.
And with these rosters settling down as we expect going forward, that is going to be something that's more and more important in terms of production and what you do on defense. Beginning part of the season, really shrunk down rosters.
Mm-hmm.
More players have started to come in a variety of ways as the year has gone on. Oh, one big swing and a miss by Miles Miller. He had a single in his last at-bat in the third.
He's really your prototypical type leadoff guy. Really chokes up on the bat, tries to spray the ball the other way a little bit.
Speaking of some MLB baseball, did you see what the Rays did earlier?
Swept the Yankees?
They swept the Yankees for only the second series in the Bronx since 2015. They're 6-1 against New York so far this year to take sole position over a first placed in the AL East.
Are you trying to take a dig at our producer by?
And he's trying to defend it in my ear. He says they're 15-3 against everybody else for a 16-9 record. I get that, PJ, but you got to win against your division.
You got to win your head-to-head. I think it's a little easy. It's a little easier to win in the Bronx Zoo when there's no fans there, I think.
He says they've also had 0 positive COVID tests. So they've had a bunch of injuries though. DJ LeMahieu, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, James Paxton came out of the game earlier today, had an MRI. Torres, Kane Lee, Britton, Severino.
Some pretty big names.
That's incredible. I mean, next man up, I guess credit to them for what they've done so far this year. The Rays at 17-9. This is going to drive in the 8th run of the ball game. Now 8-2 as Pontius touches the plate. For the second out. How about Oakland as well? 17-8 in the West. Houston trying to survive.
Oakland's got to find a way to get into the World Series. This has been a whole era of pretty good baseball teams for them in the 2000s. Made the playoffs as much as anybody, but haven't found their way into the World Series. I mean, just to what did they lose 3 times just to the Tigers?
Yeah.
Back in the playoffs.
ALDS.
ALDS twice and ALCS once, I think.
Yep.
Lost to the Yankees a bunch.
It's funny how the career of a guy like Houston Street, I mean, really good back end of the bullpen type of guy, and you can be remembered for one swing, one pitch that sends it.
Well, that's how we remember him anyway.
True. Sends a team for the World Series for the first time in a long time, certainly. 3-0 on Xavier Warren. He's walked and been hit today. Come around to score in both of those appearances on the base pass thus far. Wayman riding the 3-0 with 2 outs and the base is clear. And yet another walk. For a guy who has power, he has now 14 walks and 6 strikeouts on the year, but that's not something unnormal to his career. We've talked about in the past and what he was able to do at Central Michigan.
Right.
(103 walks to 93 strikeouts for Xavier Warren at CMU. Kind of like this guy. And Zach Gray, who can hit for some big-time power, but also draw you a free pass when you need it. (0-1) is outside. Fun to continue to watch the career of Randy Dobnak as he pitches his first full season as a Minnesota Twin. His Twins are 16-9, have one of the more underrated pitching staffs in the big leagues. Maeda coming over from the Dodgers this year, pitching a near no-hitter in a game that went to 12 innings in the end, but came down to the 9th. That's a pretty good pickup for the Twins.
Absolutely.
Had a good career with the Dodgers.
They're a pretty good team. It'll be interesting to see how they handle the postseason in MLB also.
Little excuse me swing, and that one is going to rain foul. Yeah, they've talked about the pod system. Not the traditional pod, kind of like we're seeing. So hockey has 2. Basketball in the NBA has 1. They're speaking of maybe 3 different pods, at least at the beginning of the playoffs. I don't know if that's gained any more traction. That was a week or so ago when we first heard of that. I think it's something you have to look at because you continue to see games canceled and postponed. And I'm sorry, but the 10 doubleheaders in a 60-game season for St. Louis isn't sustainable.
No.
Anywhere.
Even 7-inning games.
1-2, swing and a miss. Blew the fastball by him at 85. Has had a issue tracking the fastball from Gavin Wayman here tonight. His Zach Gray, that's back-to-back strikeouts after he reached his first 2 times at the plate. Another run comes across for the Hoppers here on the USPBL Network.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for, when you want it, and how you want it. We're ready.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2020 Equinox LT front-wheel drive for just $261 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the USPBL Reading Program School of the Game, brought to you by Hungry Howie's and CGC Water. Today I am recognizing Parkway Christian School, located in Sterling Heights, Michigan, and the teacher I want to give a huge spotlight to is Miss Schmidt. Congratulations, Parkway Christian School, on being the USPBL Reading Program School of the Game once again. Good luck on your upcoming school year, and back to you, Jeremy and Dan.
Thanks, Chelsea. Another new pitcher on. It's Austin Atwood here for the Hoppers. Hoffman Dental pitching change in the bottom of the 5th inning here today.
Liked Austin Atwood the last time out. He's, seems to have a pretty good arsenal. He got up to about 91 with his fastball the last time. See how he does with more and more experience. Nice to see a local guy out of Wayne State.
Guy who put in some work at Wayne State in a short amount of time. Graduate transfer there, so that was this year. So didn't see a full season, obviously, with COVID. Guy's really bounced around. NAI to D1 to D2. Did some good things with the Concordia Cardinals, winning a Gold Glove there at his position of pitcher. Doesn't happen too often for guys. 1,000 fielding percentage. 4 innings, 4 walks to 3 Ks thus far for Atwood. Takes over for Nicolao, who saw time for Jamon Taylor in innings 3 and 4. Leo able to strand a pair of singles in the 4th. Atwood just a fastball curveball guy. His last appearance last week, 2 innings, no hits, 1 run. It was earned. That's because of the pair of walks and 2 strikeouts that he was able to get through his 35 pitches. First pitch to Cameron Comer in there for strike 1. Comer today, a sac fly and an RBI in the 1st. Part of one of just 2 runs so far for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Big time space there in right center field. You can't even see McKinley in our screen there.
Yeah.
So if he chooses to go that way, he's going to have his way at least a double probably.
He's shown the ability to hit to all fields for sure. He's not a real hard pull guy.
Nicked that one back at 88. Waiting on the 2-2. Here it comes. Didn't get any break. And that must have been the changeup, which we really haven't seen.
He threw that harder than he traditionally throws his curveball. Not sure if that was a slider or a changeup, but that's something different than we've seen.
Some extra grunt on that fastball at 91.
He really reaches back at times and can get that up to 91. He's kind of been living more at 88, 89 for the most part.
Here's the 3-2.
That's a nice pitch.
74 miles an hour. Pulled the string for out number 2. 4th strikeout of the year. That's some plus spin, Dan. 28.65 on the spin rate there.
Yeah, that was a nice pitch.
Now it's Alec Olin's turn. Had a walk back in the third inning and a 3-2 pitch. We've had a lot of long at-bats so far in this game. We've already hit the 9 o'clock hour. Sometimes in these pitchers' duels and the 7-inning games, we're out of here by right around now.
Yeah,
De La Cruz, strong glove and a good inning for Austin Atwood here in the 5th. 1-2-3 breeze. Fly out, strike out, ground out. Pretty much every way you can get one here in the 5th. More after this.
The Weingarts family is honored to be celebrating 75 years of helping families like yours with your lawn equipment needs. While the equipment has changed, our grandfather's founding values and commitment to quality still drive our business.
We carry top brands like Exmark, Toro, Honda, Cub Cadet, and more. See the full lineup at Weingarts.com.
Whether it's new equipment, parts, or service, we work to earn your trust in each of our 6 locations.
From our family to yours, thank you for letting us serve you.
Weingarts, everything from lawn to snow.
USPBL standings brought to you by Scott's here tonight. The Unicorns still on top, and here is the battle for second place. You see those ties in the mix and a little bit more losses and games played by the Hoppers so far.
Beavers technically with, well, really only 2 games in hand, but that tie makes it look like 3.
Gavin Wayman going back out for his 3rd inning of work. He took over in the 4th for A.J. Coleman, who had a 11-batter 3rd inning. Just wasn't the sharpest of nights for A.J. to this point.
It's a strange thing. It seems like the majority of the hitters are getting a pretty good look at Wayman's fastball, with the exception of Zach Gray. He's the only guy that seems to be getting on him quick and by him.
Some of the other scores around Major League Baseball here tonight. Cleveland with a 1-0 lead over Pittsburgh. That's in the middle of the 6th inning. The Dodgers leading Seattle 5-1. Minnesota in an interleague matchup with Milwaukee. A 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Boston. Boy, what a slide they've been on. 3-0. They lead Baltimore in the 4th. San Diego in a tight game in the bottom of the 3rd. With the Rangers 1-0, and Cincinnati with a 4-2 lead over St. Louis in the top of the 3rd. A lot of games have gone final as you had some day games. Another story to check. 2 positive tests for the New York Mets has postponed their game with, of all teams, the Marlins. So they're sharing that again.
That's the last thing the Marlins needed at this point.
Toronto beat Philadelphia 9-8. Houston with a 10-8 win over Colorado.
I've yet to watch a Toronto home game. I assume that's a little bit of a different kind of look in the minor league park there.
Imagine if they had fans.
Right.
That'd just be weird, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm sure those folks would love it.
They would love it. Of course, it's ironic both of the bubbles in hockey are in Canada, and then the one Canadian baseball team not allowed to play in Canada.
They just don't want that exposure coming from all over the United States and across the border, so I get it from that perspective, and good for Canada to say no.
Nate Grice, we haven't seen him in a bit.
Pinch hitting for Riley Mahalik here in the 5th hole. Mahalik today was 1 for 3 with a single back in the 4th. So Grice
getting the bat off his shoulder there, not the best pitch to hit though.
Grice has been a reserve mostly when he's been a part of the Hoppers. He has not played since the 9th of August. 0 for 2 there. He was hit by a pitch. Looking to snap a 4-game hitless streak here tonight. Down on the count, 1-2 as Gavin Wayman comes out for inning number 3.
Another Western Michigan Bronco.
Hitting .231 on the year. 7 knocks thus far. Just 1 extra base hit. It was a double. There's Jared Price tuning up. He'll get some work in here tonight with his team down 8-2.
It's funny, I saw the small group of people, the same group, cheering for Nick Leo and Nate Grice, and I just realized why. They both went to Western Michigan. You can notice these little things in the ballpark these days. There's only so many little groups of people.
Very true. Good quote from one of the guys. I can't remember exactly who it was. It was one of the pitchers. She says, I can hear my host mom whenever she's in the ballpark cheering very loudly because she's one of the only people cheering.
Right.
Nate Grice, the native of Bishop Foley. For a long time, they had a really good thing going in Madison Heights. The Ventures.
Yeah, they owned Division III there for a period of time. And University Liggett went up from Division IV to Division III, and that made it a tougher go for Foley.
Career .497 in the slugging department. He had quite the junior year, .611 slugging there, 14 doubles, 10 homers. His senior season a little bit further down there, 13 doubles, 5 homers. But regardless, some good production at the Division I level for this 6'2 outfielder. And he coaxes a walk here. That's not easy to do at all when you haven't played in almost 2 weeks. Fifth walk of the year. He has had a little bit of an issue with strikeouts. 18 of them coming into play here tonight. Trevor McKinley, great swing in his middle at bat, 0 for 2 otherwise. Can't catch up with that curveball for strike one. One fought it off inside. 82-mile-per-hour fastball that time, so losing a little bit of gas on that here is Gavin Wayman in his 3rd inning of work. Thrown 50 pitches so far here tonight. Quickly ahead 1-2 on Trevor McKinley. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here tonight. Dan York will take over the reins tomorrow and Saturday for me. He'll work with Dan here in the booth. Dan and Dan. Rope to right, base hit, maybe more. And in fact, Olin is right on it. So that's first and second with no outs here to start the 6th. This is the first time we'll see Jake Hoover now, another Texas prospect. We hear really good things about his glove at short. Pinch hits for the left fielder here today, so it'll be interesting to see what Paul Noce does defensively, and that looks to be the end of the road for Gavin Wayman. The Beavers closer is going to get some action here in the 6th inning in a 8-2 game in favor of the Diamond Hoppers. First and second to start it here. And Jared Price is going to be your Hoffman Dental pitching change here. The 3rd pitcher that Vaughn Joshua will use here tonight. He's had a really good start to this USPBL career. We'll look at his numbers when we get back here on the USPBL Network.
Oh, right up here and look around the...
Give it.
From from the very get-go in your major, you are doing things involved with your major. And they really do a good job with finding professors that not only know what they're talking about, but know how to teach what they're talking about.
Here, the professor cares about your success and is willing to work for it with you.
You get the intensive care from each professor. You get the interactions with different students both in and outside of your major.
There's always something happening on campus. There's always something to do. Go visit campus and really experience everything that campus has to offer. Once you do that, it makes up your mind for you.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Jared Price, a good piece to the back end of this bullpen this year, Dan.
Very good piece. He had his velocity pretty consistent, 92, 93 the last time out. He's going to be awfully tough. All-star, been very dependable. In for an inning of work here. Certainly not his typical role, but he needs to get him out of this gym.
First pitch scooped up there by Cameron Comer behind the dish. First and second to start the sixth inning. The Hoppers are ready with a 6-run lead. 12 hits on the board for Eastside here tonight. And Price pounding the zone with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball there. Four-seamer, slider, changeup, curveball for Jared. Changeup used the least. He likes the slider the most out in the breaking balls. Sawed off into right. That might just score a run depending on what they want to do. And Mahalik going to find his way to third. So the base is juiced with no outs in the sixth.
Nice little piece of hitting there for Hoover after sitting on the bench for a couple hours.
And you cannot take a deep breath when it comes to the bottom of the order here today, Dan. They are a combined 5 for 6 with 3 extra base hits, 2 doubles and a triple.
Right. Between Maselli and Pontius, they've been on base 6 times between the two of them. You know you're going to have a good day when that happens.
You can just tell these two look more confident. Just look at that last take for Maselli. He knew he was taking it all the way into the glove. 1-0. Got good contact on that one to right center field, and Harris going to capture it for out number 1. It's going to count in the book as a sac fly and an RBI as Mahalik touches the plate for the 8th time this year.
Another good swing. Good contact. Just got under it a little bit, but drove the ball pretty deep into center field. Get himself another RBI.
McKinley also advancing his way over to third base. Jordan Pontius today as hot as we've seen him. He came in with 7 hits. He has 3 here tonight. Single, single, triple. Driven in 2 runs and scored a run. His last time on base after his triple in the 5th. Price has worked 16 2/3 innings. 8 walks to 19 strikeouts for him thus far. 1.62 ERA. That one whittled off the leg. His best fastball here tonight at 93. As a 4-game scoreless streak going heading into this game. That run obviously going to be charged to Gavin Wayman here as he inherits it in the 6th. And that one whittled into right. Another run will come around to score. McKinley makes it 10-2 as everybody just moves up a station here.
And that is 4 hard hit balls to right field for Pontius today.
You got to love it, Dan. I mean, if he finds that avenue to success, that's going to be an interesting bottom half of the lineup for Paul Nochi.
That's for sure. They can turn it over to the top with the best of them.
Miles Miller Couple strikeouts to his credit so far, and a single back in the third as that one delivered outside. This is already the sixth man to the plate. They've sent at least 5 to the plate in every inning. That sounds like a 10-2 game.
Right.
This one rides outside 2-0, along with things like this, getting behind hitters, which we've kind of seen all night long. You look at the spray chart for Pontius, and you see a few balls. So it shows us contact out, double, error, single. Singles mostly to center field. He has 1 to right, but a lot of his outs are to the pole field. Either shallow left field, left center, a couple to deep center.
That's very telling. It may mean that he needs to see the ball a little bit longer. Possibly keep his shoulder in. He may have been pulling off the ball a little bit before, getting a little bit too rotational.
Quite a few pop-outs. I see 3 right in front of home plate here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of on the left side of the infield. 2 on the right side. 2 down the first base line. That look brought to you by Eric McKean. Fine analytics man here in the booth. Eric needs to create a business for how many times we mention him, but he does a great job. Gives us a lot of numbers before the games. I appreciate everything he does to make these broadcasts stream with information as well. Here's the 2-2. Whittled fair. Wow, how did he coax that fair down the first base line? Williams Jr. is it going to able to tag the bag for the second out, and it'll advance both base runners as well.
You could almost see Ron Williams Jr. say, finally.
The easy ground ball.
He's had some balls that have just been eating him up today.
You kind of have to try to keep that one fair. Kind of cricket swung that one down the first base line. Ever play cricket before?
No, I have not.
Fastball at 93 by De La Cruz here. He's the 7th man to the plate here in the 6th. Xavier Warren, your Zach Hart agency man on deck.
That is the one with the horses, right?
No, cricket's the one with the flat bat.
Oh, all right. Which one is the one where you, like the rich people riding around on horses? What is that?
Talking about equestrian?
Is that polo?
Polo. Sorry,
okay.
yes.
Gotcha. Cricket, okay. So that's more the English game where you bounce it in?
Yeah, so sort of like baseball.
Okay. I think it's only 2 bases. You kind of go back and forth between them. Isn't that sort of
that? I don't know now. You're trying to expose me.
Okay.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a tap foul. Walk in the first and a single in the third.
Then, of course, there's croquet on the lawn.
Have you done that?
A little bit.
Okay. You watch any of that professional cornhole that they've been airing?
I have a little bit.
There's money involved in that. And
sure.
Get your right arm tuned up again. Another big inning here in the 6th. Surprising to see this off Price as well, as he's able to coax a strikeout to Adam De La Cruz. His first of the outing here in the 6th. Has a smile as he is able to strand the threat and 2 more base runners here. 10-2 the lead on the USPBL network.
As we continue to respond to COVID-19 in our communities, Ascension Michigan is with you in this, and we are doing what matters to keep you safe in our care. At our hospitals and sites of care across the state, Ascension Michigan has additional safeguards in place. We are limiting visitors, ensuring proper social distancing in our waiting rooms, offering more online visits, and performing rigorous procedures to clean and disinfect. Our care teams are delivering babies and performing surgery. Now more than ever, it's important not to delay your health care. Schedule your appointments. Make sure children are getting their vaccinations. And if you have an emergency, don't wait. Go straight to your closest Ascension ER. Thank you for continuing to protect yourself and our community by washing your hands, wearing a face covering, and social distancing. Our doctors, nurses, and staff are ready for you when you need us. This is what we do best.
Upcoming games brought to you by Motor City Casino Hotel. Unicorns and the Diamond Hoppers going at it tomorrow. First pitch at 7:05, on the air at 6:50 here on the USPBL network. Then the double dip on Saturday. The Beavers and the Unicorns going at it. Finishing out the week with the Mammoths and the Beavers on Sunday.
So that means the Hoppers are done until at least Wednesday after tomorrow.
Look at that.
Extended break.
USPBL network flashing sign there.
That's a good shot. They should take a picture of us and put it out there.
People would start to crash. Are you kidding me?
M59's got too much traffic for that.
Ron Williams Jr., Austin Shoemaker, and Jalen Smith due up for the Beavers. That look brought to you by Zach Hart Agency here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 more runs scored in the top half. That one zinged in at 88 by Austin Atwood. That was 98. I'm not sure Atwood would be here. Tracy McCurvey comments on Facebook. She says, that was probably Jared Price that said that about his host mom laughing emoji. Us host moms, dads, and siblings have to cheer loud for our guys. So there you go. Can't quite remember who it was. I have to look back in my notes. Here's the 1-1. Skying foul.
Probably several of them would have said it. You know, a lot of them have been without their, quote-unquote real families here at games too, which is unusual for ball players. You know, a lot of ball players have their families follow them around frequently, go to their games. We've been able to get a few more of them into games lately just because we have a better projection for when our season ticket holders are coming to games and which games they're coming to and how many more tickets we might be able to sell after that. So we've been able to sell a few tickets here and there, which has been nice. Some of those going to players' families on occasion.
1-2 quickly on Ron Williams Jr. Atwood worked a 1-2-3 frame, our first of the day. Back in the 5th. Here's the pitch outside at 90.
In fact, I spoke to Ron Williams Sr. once.
Did you?
Yeah, a couple times actually about tickets. Nice man.
Curveball and a beauty at 72, whiff and a miss. Second strikeout for Atwood here tonight. Shoemaker trying to avoid the trifecta here tonight in the strikeout column. This is where Dan Griesbaum Jr. busts out the golden sombrero conversation.
Well, this would only be a hat trick.
Correct. What about the platinum sombrero?
Did we decide that was the 5 strikeouts?
I think so.
Okay. And then there was some other medal for 6, I believe, out there. Some precious stone of some type.
0-1 on Austin Shoemaker. Strikeout looking back in the 2nd and struck out swinging in the 3rd. Here's a 0-1. Hit the glove at 90, and Atwood is pouring it in. He's been the most consistent pitcher thus far.
Knock wood.
Here's a 0-2. Sounded like a broken bat. Dribbler. Somehow that stayed fair. Boy, we've had some weird cue shots down the first and third base line here in the 6th inning, and Shoemaker is able to reach as De La Cruz, or actually that's Blaze, or it's not any of those, it's Hoover, I'm sorry, down at third base. Looks like they have ruled that a hit here in the 6th.
Yeah, not much else you can do with that.
Fly ball to center field, chasing Miles Miller back. There's the second out. Here's Cesar Cuevas now. He's 2 for 2 today with a pair of singles. He reached third base his last time on base. There is the aforementioned Hoover, seeing his first action in a USPBL game. Another guy that played at Spokane in 2019, 51 games.
Short season A ball, I believe.
Yep. 239 average at the plate, but they like the glove. He's turned 14 double plays already in his minor league career, and 30 games.
There's a good look at the very socially distant grandstand right there.
Jake Hoover from Armada, Michigan, so not too far away from here. That's cider mill country.
Absolutely. Is that Blake's that's in Armada?
I believe so. There might be a couple down in that direction. Went to Hillsdale, the Division II ranks.
Not a lot of pro ball players from Armada High School, I don't think. Of course, if I'm wrong about that, somebody will correct me quickly.
Oh, yes. The whole town of Armada watching right now, Dan. June 12th, 2019, he was signed as an undrafted free agent to the Texas system. 2-1 is outside. I'm hoping we get to go to some cider mills here in the fall.
That's a good point. I never would have thought that that would be potentially out, but you never know. Could be altered maybe. Maybe the apple picking's going to be okay. Maybe not. Maybe not so much crowding inside to grab the cider and donuts.
Yeah, they might have to kind of
outside.
redesign the way. Hot shot to left field on a line. That one is out of here.
In a hurry.
Wow. Cuevas with a big-time strike. 91 off the bat that carried 321 feet. And just like that, the Beavers have a couple more runs.
Cuevas has had a nice day. He made one base running mistake, but outside of that, he's had a nice offensive day, a couple of base knocks, and that ball got out in a hurry on a line.
Here's TJ Riles now. Looks at a ball down low at a single back in the 4th inning, did Riles. Six-run ball game here in the 6th inning. Austin Atwood with a good start. Retired his first 4 straight. (3-0) here on TJ. I haven't done a good job winding this back. Maybe this is the swing here as we try to get a second look at that home run off the bat of TJ Riles on our YouTube monitor.
Yeah, I finally got a second look at it there. It was just a ball that was on the inside part of the plate. Not a terrible pitch, really.
No.
Just pulled his hands in nice, exploded his hips, and was able to keep it fair.
The inning extended for Freddie Geely, so now I don't know if you start to panic, but if you're Paul Noce, you at least want to settle down Austin Atwood here. A runner on first base in a 6-run game.
Well, you figure Dugan Darnell's probably available to go an inning, even in a game where it's not a safe situation, but I think you'd like Atwood to get this last out here.
There is Dugan Darnell. Look at you.
Thinking like Paul Noce, I guess. I don't think they want to go to him in the 6th here. It's not a safe situation, and to have him go 1, I think is enough. They'd like to see Atwood get this out.
He has 3 saves this season, does Dugan Darnell. .47 ERA through 13 appearances, 19 innings overall. High at 88, maybe Atwood losing a little gas here. 31 pitches deep into his appearance here in the 6th inning. 2nd inning overall of work. Got him 1, 2, 3 back in the 5th. That was the heart of the lineup as well. And Romero, Harris, Cameron Comer, and Alec Oland. Now the 1-1 to Geely. Runner in motion. Good pitch to throw on, but Warren couldn't handle it cleanly that time. Another TCF Bank stolen base.
I don't think Atwood or myself or really anyone else in the park for that matter was thinking too much about a stolen base there. You know, it's still a 6-run deficit late in the game.
Three and 1 here from Freddie Geely. Singles in his first 2 ABs. There you see it. It's messy. 10 runs, 14 hits, 1 error. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and the distribution of runs. Romero Harris to the tune of Don't Stop Me Now. One swing of the bat makes it interesting again. He can do that. 2 home runs this year, 10 runs in total scored, just working on a 152 average, but seems to be seeing the ball a bit better at the plate here tonight than what we've seen in the last 10 games. He's just 2 for 26 coming into play tonight. Does have 5 walks compared to 7 strikeouts, so. Here's a 0-2. Swing and a miss. Atwood bears down and gets his 3rd strikeout of the night. 2nd of the inning. 2 runs come around to score. Cuevas with the nice tucking swing to left field. A line drive home run to make it 10-4. Time for the race.
Those Motor City wheels are messing around, waiting to get the call to go downtown. La 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 Taking some time and having some fun, waiting to get the call that it's time to run.
Holy Hot Rods, it's race time. Chevy Detroit wheels, start your engine.
Petey Pickup out of the gate first here. Dan, you got him or what?
No, he can't win 2 in a row. I'm going to go with Shelley.
It's a close pack to begin things here tonight.
Should we assume this will be the longest race of all time, just judging by the pace of the game?
They're like ants marching into the colony here.
Oh, back up.
Uh-oh. Was that a pick play? Is that a pick play right there? What is that?
Okay. That's a good question.
There's a little shake and bake action from
teammates, perhaps. Well, I got one right. I don't get this race. I don't pick this race correctly too often.
Shelley gonna finish to the gold here tonight. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers mascot race here tonight. Chevy drives the Motor City. Jared Price on for his 2nd inning of work. Not as snappy as we're used to. He did inherit some base runners. 1st and 2nd with no outs when he came in the 6th inning. After that, a single. Then a sac fly, scored a run off the bat of Maselli. Another single by Pontius. He's hot tonight, 4 for 4. And they got 2 outs in a row to retire the side.
Well, this guy's been on base 3 out of 4.
Walk, hit by pitch. And if you're going to bet on the way Xavier's going to reach, at least lately, it's probably going to be with the walk because he has 14 of them now this season compared to only 6 strikeouts.
I feel like this is an informal guess, but I feel like at least 2 or 3 of those were against Ty Hensley, of those 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, he had that one 4K day. I think that was against Hensley, wasn't it, when he had 12?
I think so.
And to be honest, looking at his last few games, he really hasn't walked much at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row where he didn't have a walk. The 3 games prior to that stretch, he walked a combined 6 times, had 3 walks on August 7th. He has kind of become an everyday player throughout the league now, primary hopper. I mean, there was one time where he was getting at bats for somebody every night,
right,
if there were games.
And another walk.
Make it 15 on the year now, and Zach Gray trying to do some more damage. He's 0 for 2 in his last couple at-bats with 2 strikeouts. Just didn't see the fastball well from Gavin Wayman for some reason, it didn't seem like.
Yeah, it was a strange thing. It seemed like most everybody else was getting a pretty healthy cut on his fastball, but it was just getting by Gray. I don't know if he was looking for something else the whole time or what.
Seemed to see Coleman pretty well. A walk and a single. Also scored a run back in the 3rd inning. Ryan Andrazik, one of the pitchers in this league, comments on YouTube. Caesar and Trevor, both roommates, going yard tonight. Impressive home run off the bat of Caesar and Trevor, really.
Yep.
One placed in at 92. 11 batter inning for these hoppers in the 3rd. Gray was one of the 5 runs that scored, along with De La Cruz, Warren, McKinley, and Maselli. Good pickup on that one on the change. Here's the 2-1. Strike 2 at 92. Leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. We've had a lot of leadoff base runners in this game. That usually brews trouble for any pitcher. Williams Jr., another tough one there. He is able to respond and get 1 out, but Warren will advance to 2nd.
Ball handcuffed him a little bit. He's been fighting it today. Not really all his fault over there, though. He's had some nasty hops.
So innings 3 through 7, the Hoppers have gotten the leadoff man on. Coleman retired the first batter he saw in Miles Miller, and then the first 2 in the 2nd via groundouts. Beavers not as lucky, and it's kind of indicative of what the score is here tonight. A 6-run spread for the Hoppers. 3rd pitcher used in a 7-inning game by the Beavers here tonight is Jared Price. Probably hard to have the complete focus that you normally do as a closer to come in a situation like this for Price. He's not normally coming in with his team behind. I mean, you see closers struggle even with a 4 or 5 run lead for their team.
Yep.
This is a big deficit, obviously.
Yeah, you just have to try to execute your pitches and accomplish the work that you're looking to accomplish out there and not think so much about the situation.
1-2, poured him in with the fastball at 93 again as that one reaches back and foul. Here's the second at bat for Nate Grice here tonight. He walked his first time up in the 6th. Came around to score. Both him and McKinley played it on McKinley's bomb. 1-2. Pretty good off speed, but gave that a ride to right center field going back, and that one is gone.
Pounded.
Nate Grice puts a charge into one himself. 2 more runs on the board, and that's a really nice swing.
You know, just to the naked eye, that it was tough to tell whether that was a slider or a changeup. I think it was a slider, but it just kind of spun. It just didn't really have much depth to it, and certainly not his usual pitch. Really stayed on that ball well to right center field.
Not sure Grice thought it was going off the bat. He was sprinting out of the box. Kind of looked more like a gap shot than anything.
Well, we talked in the pregame about how we might see some home runs tonight, and it's certainly played out that way.
We talked about the power that Grice showcased in college. Still kind of looking for that to translate here at the pro level. It's his 2nd of the season. So now 12-4 Hoppers here, 34 pitches deep for Jared Price. He's not stretched it out all too much so far this year. Most we've seen him throw 49, so he did go 3 innings back in his first appearance on the 18th of July. Just foul. One in the 2nd, 5 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th and 5th, 2 in the 6th and 7th.
Did the umpire get some dirt in the eye here? I didn't really catch what happened there.
Yeah, it looks like it. They're going to bring him out some water.
Yeah, he's kind of blinking. Looks like she's got some eye wash there or something. I think it is the contact.
You never know what you're going to do as a trainer, huh?
No, you sure don't.
Trying to get that dirt out of the eye.
As if we needed anything to slow the game down at this point, right?
12-4 games, 16 hits on the board for the squad batting. Another home run off the bat of Nate Grice.
Maybe JJ will run onto the field too.
Hey, we talked about the home runs in our open. We look so smart now, don't we?
Absolutely.
No, I mean, the wind certainly was a factor early on. It's not whipping much in left center field. That flag is still in motion. Home run by McKinley here tonight. Nate Grice. Cuevas in the 6th inning. It's fun to see. I think it would be fun to start to see more of that home run chase as the year goes on. You got some power hitters certainly in this league. Greg Vaughn Jr., your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the 7th. Flopping line drive, they're going to spin down in front of Cuevas as he throws it over to first base for the 2nd out here. And actually it's Hoover on deck as he took over in this spot for Vaughn back in the 6th. He singled. Quite a few Nate Grice fans chiming in on Facebook. Melissa Gary Pencheson saying Foley family in the house. Go Ventures. How about that? On the ground, third base side, Smith over to first, and that is the third out of the inning. Price gives up a home run, 2 more on the board. It's 12-4 in favor of the Hoppers here today. Time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, presented by Genesis Credit Union here tonight. Here is Leo Ortel, your public address announcer.
It's that time. Sponsored by Genesis Credit Union, it's time for the 7th inning stretch and Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Let's hear you sing. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Thank you, fans, for participating in the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Genesis Credit Union.
It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event going on now at Crest Lincoln. Schedule your remote experience today or visit us here and learn what it means to have vehicle ownership on your terms.
Find some peace this summer in the luxury of the 2020 Lincoln Nautilus. Lease today for only $359 per month. Or drive in comfort and style in the 2020 Lincoln Continental. Lease today for only $361 per month.
Make a summer memory today. Visit us at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop now at crestlincoln.com.
Detroit Mercy really models a value-based education. They focus a lot on service, which provides so many different experiences and opportunities that allows us to tie in everything we learn, how to apply that outside of the class.
There are a number of different programs that we're a part of to help bring the community back and revitalize the city of Detroit. Doing service with the community really helps bring Detroit Mercy outside of the gates and to everyone.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Duke and Darnell going to get some work in here tonight for the Hoppers. Big arm in the back of this bullpen did a great job this year through 19 innings, just a .47 ERA. 15 walks to 33 Ks. He's your Huffman Dental pitching change in the home half of the 7th for the Beavers, down 8.
He's a good one. We saw him touch 95 his last time out. He's got a splitter. Curveball, which is not his best pitch. I think he needs a little bit of work with his breaking ball, but even really just with his fastball, he's been very effective and done well in this role so far.
Stick around for the Auto Lab post-game show from the United Shore Media Desk. Chelsea Estes going to catch up with our Michigan surgery specialist player of the game here tonight. Certainly a lot of candidates on the offensive side. We'll see who they go with. How about Xavier Warren? 3 walks, a hit by pitch, 3 runs scored.
Jordan Pontius with a big day.
Yeah.
Plenty of choices. I don't think I would choose a pitcher today.
No, probably not. Triple, 3 singles, 3 RBIs, and a run scored for Jordan Pontius. By far his best day this year.
Definitely.
Mahalik with a home run, McKinley with a home run. Pontius looks like my go-to.
Yep.
I don't make those big-time decisions, though. Comer with a swing and miss. At least not here tonight. Sometimes they confer with us here in the booth. Grise with the home run, not Mahalik hitting in the spot of Riley. As this one is in tight to Cameron Comer. Comer today picked up an RBI. Back in the first, has seen a 3-2 count every time he's been to the plate so far tonight. It's 2-2 right now. Swing and a miss at 78 with the curveball there. Alec Olin and Ron Williams Jr., Zach Hurt agency, 2 men due up here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Darnell, 11% swing and miss rate on the curveball, 10% on the splitter, and 22% on the four-seam fastball. That ranges anywhere from 90 to 94.
That was a good curveball right there.
Spin rate of 2431, just a tick under the major league average of 2,500. Here's a 0-1 now. Another curveball. That one remained high. Why not work on it here tonight?
Sure.
Throws at 22% of the time. The fastball 68%. Splitter at 10%. There's another one.
Gonna stick with it.
Flopped in at 71 on the corner for strike two.
Commanding, it's really been the issue. It's not the depth or the break. He's got to be able to throw it where he wants to throw it.
Swing and a miss.
And that's not fair after seeing 3 curves.
Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 7th inning for Dugan Darnell. Tomorrow, the Hoppers and the Unicorns going at it. That look brought to you by Motor City Casino Hotel. Noah Goetze, Ty Hensley getting the start once again, fresh off the 5-inning no-hit bid in the All-Star game. So he's had 2 starts in a row with no hits. It would have been interesting to see what he would have done if it wasn't that All-Star game format in 7 innings. We half wondered whether they'd let him chase after it because, and obviously you want to get guys in the All-Star game, but quite a few of the pitchers on both sides had already been used or were, figured to be used later in the week.
He's becoming must-see TV.
7-inning no-hitter all the way around 2 starts ago. And even, it's funny to say, but those last 2 starts, you talk to the brass of the USPBL when we talk about pitching, and, they kind of agree, maybe not his best stuff. In there for strike 3, an easy inning for Dugan Darnell as he strikes out the side. He can't lower his ERA much more, but he's trying to, Dan.
He's pretty sharp, and he took time to work on his curveball today, it looked like, too, which had some really nice movement. But nice day for the Hoppers. Just got after it with the sticks and kind of saw that coming to some degree, and that's the way it played out.
A big-time 11-batter 3rd inning. It all started with a single by Adam De La Cruz. He came around to score. So did Xavier Warren, Zach Gray, Trevor McKinley on his 3-run home run, and the double by Anthony Maselli. Pontius with a great day. 4 for 4 here today. 3 singles, 3 RBIs, a triple in the 5th. Best we've seen him hit the ball, almost everything to the opposite field. So that's a good sign. And if that second baseman who hitting at the bottom of the order here tonight when this Hoppers lineup can be dangerous going forward.
Very much so. They're going to turn that lineup over, and we're starting to see their roles kind of line up and get a good sense for what this infield's going to look like, and this is going to be a contending club.
Chelsea Estes will rejoin us from the United Shore Media Desk in our Auto Lab post-game show with our Michigan Surgery Specialist Player of the Game when we get back here on the USPBL Network.
We're the Diamond Hoppers, ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline, warming up the benches. Need a lesson, I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a Diamond Hopper fan, point them out, ayy. 5 ball, catch a frog, walk it out, ayy. Every time you score, I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing, let's rock. Diamond Hoppers, Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, we the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Diamond Hoppers, Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
air conditioning services, turn to the experienced professionals in McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration. Since 1970, we've been delivering high-quality air conditioning installation and repair services. Call for a free estimate today. Let us help you be cool and comfortable. For comprehensive HVAC services, contact McQuaid Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Refrigeration today.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
At Priority Health, we're embarking on a new normal, embracing the changes needed to keep Michigan safe. While that may look a little different for everyone, Priority Health is here to help. With access to the care you need, the doctors you want, and the quality coverage you can afford. So you can get back to this, and this, safely, steadily, and with the smartest health coverage possible.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power-up down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2020 Silverado Custom Crew Cab 4-wheel drive for just $323 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Oh, right up here and loop around the.
Give it.
All right, everyone, welcome back. It is time for the end of the game recap brought to you by Auto Lab. I am here with the one and only Jordan Pontius. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Close enough.
That's correct.
Very close for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. I mean, Jordan, let's go over your stats. It was awesome job by you and the whole team. As we were sitting here talking earlier, we said we could have chose anybody. We could have had the whole team come up here. You were 4 for 4 tonight. 3 singles, a triple, and 3 RBI. I mean, you've been in a little bit of a hitting rut. We were talking about too, so really kind of came together tonight. So what were you feeling out there?
A little bit of luck for sure. I've been a little bit unlucky at the plate recently. So luck changed tonight, and you know, it's not much else to say. Just hitting balls hard, and they were finding holes. So.
That's the easiest way to do it. So clearly one of your best outings of the season. So have you been working on anything in particular during practices to really kind of help you with this?
Just staying true to myself, just making it really simple. Hitting's already hard enough, so just trying to find some barrels and let the rest take care of itself.
I like it.
So
Stick with what you know.
Yeah.
So, okay. I was sitting here watching the game, and then fans at home, I will tell you, when I looked over in the dugout and I saw some team dance moves going on in here. What is with this new team dance move? And feel free to demo if you'd like to.
We've seen it in the major leagues a couple times, but we're just having fun. I mean, this game's already hard enough. You know, we're just trying to make it a little bit more fun. And
you guys definitely have had fun tonight. I was sitting here. It's great to sit here and watch you guys interact with each other, but someone said this is the Hoppers way, and a lot of fun team attitude here tonight. This is a big team win for you guys. You really needed
100%,
this. You know, you guys are now above 500. Moving forward, how can you take this win, this energy, this momentum, and moving forward?
Exactly what you said. Just keep moving forward. Keep having fun. Keep dancing. Just look, every day's a new day. Just go out there and have fun.
I would love
let the rest take care of itself.
The dancing fans. Yeah, one day, hopefully, we can show you. But I won't put him on the spot any more than I already have tonight. Again, one more time, your player of the game, brought to you by Autolove, is Jordan Pontius. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jeremy and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Chelsea. That's certainly a well-earned player of the game honor here tonight, Dan.
Absolutely. This is, far and away his best offensive day. He's been a core part of this team, though. He's been solid up the middle, and this is a defense that, especially in the infield, that could really be fun to watch here in the second half.
12 runs off 14 hits, 4 runs off 7 hits on the other side. Quite the offensive explosion here today. The Hoppers answering the bell in this battle for first place. We're going to see it kind of here at the end of the summer and see if the Unicorns can hold on. Single game tomorrow, the doubleheader on Saturday, and the single game on Sunday. Some more good baseball action coming at you here on the USPBL Network. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 6:50 on the USPBL Network. For my broadcast partner today, Dan Griesbaum Jr., our director, PJ Gradowski, our graphics operator, Jeremiah Hergott, and all our cameramen here tonight did a great job. We will see you